Hello, Angela.
Howdy.
I have to get you in on it. Which I plan to do right now. There you go. No smooth cuts today. Happy Labor Day, Angela. How do you feel? Do you feel what is it? What is Labor Day really? What is it? I don't think I've ever known, even though I'm absolutely sure someone has told me at some point in my life. But what is it?
I am so glad that you are asking this because our country has a really, really long and very, absolutely rich with story and excitement. It's like an action movie when you learn about the various labor movements that have taken place on this soil, this American soil.
On this American soil.
Mm-hmm. It's these aren't stories that are often told because, sometimes the story belongs to the victor, right? Like whoever wins gets to tell the story.
Right.
So that's why you don't hear so much about the labor uprisings of miners in Appalachia and stuff because, they didn't win. They won some, they lost some. But for the most part, Americans are really kind of out of touch with how absolutely violent and effective the labor movements have been.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose.
Foz was like, is Angela invisible? Because I botched up the...
Was I invisible?
Yeah, you were.
That's
it was
cool.
just me. I was soloing. It was just me. And I didn't know. And I was like looking, and I was like, hey. I didn't have my proper multi-view up.
Anyway, did you hear my answer about
it's
Labor Day?
It's about labor movements in America.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting that. So I don't know why people are so surprised that Trump doesn't have anything to say about that. Mm-hmm. He's been the bane of such things. His entire existence.
I always find it's really funny that like corporations like Amazon or something will have Labor Day sales. And I'm like, don't act like you celebrate.
Yeah, you're totally anti-union.
You mean if I spend more at your company, more people have to do labor for and not get paid appropriately for it?
Guys, you're working twice as hard for twice as long today.
Yeah.
For half the pay. It's Labor Day.
It's Labor Day. That's the American way, isn't it?
That's the American way, man. We're talking about making money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Me making money.
Yeah, right.
Oh, shit. Well, I hope you had a nice weekend. I had a relatively good weekend, I think I'm battling like some kind of food allergy that I can't figure out yet. So, I'm working on these headaches, but otherwise, man, I'm spinning like a top. How about you?
Yeah, I feel good. It's the 1st of September, so it's almost fall, which makes me happy.
That does also make me happy. I feel good about that. It's nice to get some of those cooler evenings.
I feel like we're chit-chatting too long.
Opening up
we're
the
doing
door.
We're doing like the opening chit-chat a lot today.
Let's say hi to Foz.
Hi, Foz.
She's here. I was immediately think Foz and like she's here, and Bobo's here, and we have others here. But and then we have Feels Bad Man is here.
That's such a great name. I'll never get over how great that name is.
It's the greatest name. It's I'm telling you, it just brings me all the way back to 1980 whatever when I was hanging out with Feels Bad, because it's Feels Bad Man, which is something I would have said
this
about.
Is a person's name?
I had this nickname for a guitar player in our band.
Okay.
In 1980 fucking 4.
Okay.
5. His name was Phil, and then it was actually really my buddy Jamie. He used to just say Feesbird for Phil. I don't know where he came from. Feesbird feels bad, because like one time like Phil came in and he was like, yeah, I'm not feeling great or whatever. And he's like, oh, Feesbird feels bad, and it just stuck. So oddly enough, Feels Bad Man came back, showed up, and I hadn't thought of that in decades, probably. And as soon as I saw it, I heard Jamie saying it in my ear.
That's really funny.
It was perfect. So, thanks for the memories. Delicate is here in the form of Delicatessen, the great movie. Speaking of great movies, did we not see a great movie?
We saw 2 great movies.
All right. So do you want to speak about them? Let's get started with our weekend spoils.
Our weekend film wrap up.
Yeah. Yes.
Dale showed me the 1990 film State of Grace, which I'd never seen before.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are into New York mob movies.
Right.
But this is kind of a different take on it, and it was excellent. There were so many times where I watched that, there was a scene in the movie where there's like two of like the biggest American icon actors, and they're arguing, and the whole time I'm like, yes, this is what cinema is about. Look at them, they're arguing.
They're arguing, and like the argument is like rich,
Yes.
and like the dialogue.
I was like, not only
lovely.
are they arguing, but they're brothers, and they're arguing. It's so good.
Yeah, and the fucking and the look is this like great noisy kind of 35 millimeter.
Oh yeah, it was perfect.
Gorgeous
The
color.
the cinematography was like just stunning the whole way through. They just don't make movies like that anymore. And
What
I'll
a
keep
fucking
saying
movie!
it.
What a movie, dude! And listen to the cast, right? It's Sean Penn, it's Robin Wright, and she is just a revelation in the fucking movie. And I do remember seeing it back in the day and just thinking, who is this angelic but yet like incredibly strong centered woman? You know, like she had like the beauty of Pfeiffer and the strength of Weaver. You know?
Yeah, it was her second thing after The Princess Bride. I looked it up.
Yeah.
She's a scene stealer for sure.
Yeah.
When she's on the
Exactly,
screen,
yeah,
you can't not look at her. Like you're not looking at anybody else.
But Princess Bride was like a role that she almost was like, she was brilliant in it, obviously, but she was like, it was easy to, she fit into the role in the stereotype. Like she played the stereotype so perfect.
What do you mean?
Well, just this princess stereotype is the best way I can put it.
I thought The Princess Bride was not a stereotype.
Well,
She was like a really stern, bossy princess who needed rescuing, but was like angry about it. And I always just loved that. It was definitely against the stereotype of the damsel in distress. You know?
pardon me. Yes.
She played it perfectly. And I think that's she's kind of typecast, you know? Like she's always just been playing this like stern, strong woman ever since. And she's excellent at it. And I can't get enough. Everybody in that movie kind of played who they normally play.
Yeah.
Like nobody really stretched. Like Ed Harris is in State of Grace. And he's just always plays Ed Harris.
The cast, dude.
But he's
John
just
Turturro, doing John Turturro.
Yeah.
But like early John Turturro,
Yeah.
killing it. Just killing it.
Every single actor in that film is flawless.
Fucking brilliant movie.
Even the smaller players who I'd never heard of before or since.
1990 State of Grace.
1990 State of Grace. How many pineapples?
Oh,
How many tiny pineapples?
It's a 4.5 for me.
It's a 4.5 for you?
It's a 4.5.
Why is it not a 5?
Well, to not like sort of add some spoilers, but there are some things like, so there are cheats that writers feel like they have to make that I think directors should get the writers out of. One of them would be that there's a scene where they're in a bar and, and then I don't want to spoil, bro, because I really hope that we're persuading somebody to see this movie.
4.5 stars is a persuasive
fucking
score.
Brilliant movie.
I just didn't know why you were holding back.
Because 5 stars has to be like, there has to be very, very few 5 stars. This movie is an absolute
There has to
gem.
be very few 5 stars.
Well,
What is this rule?
Because it's for me, there is in my
Why is it exclusive?
it's not a rule, it's my standards. Well, because 5 is perfection.
Okay.
So I certainly have to hold that to the highest possible
So it
standards.
wasn't perfect.
So if I take umbrage with any of the writing or any of the producing or any of the directing at all, any of the sound, any of the editing, if ever in the movie I am removed for a moment from what they're doing and into I would have done that a little bit differently, I'll typically then remove it from the possibility of being perfect.
I think it's so weird you keep talking about this movie, which was phenomenal, 4.5 stars, and you still haven't mentioned Gary Oldman.
Well, I was about to. I was going through the cast. Gary Oldman was a revelation to me as well. I think this might have been the first movie I saw him in as a kid, or I don't know how old I was, whatever. It was 90, so I was, I was 20 when it came out. I don't know when I saw it. I may have seen it in the theater. I don't remember, but I do remember that that Robin Wright was just like, I couldn't even believe how great she was, how beautiful she was. She just like everything you would want in a sort of, female lead she was.
Yeah, her hair alone should have won an award.
An Oscar for best hair. They should have created best hair, best natural hair, best real hair. It was a
But
commercial.
Gary Oldman, who it's just, guys, it's just nuts to watch a movie where you're like, okay, the casting is perfect. There's Gary Oldman, Sean Penn, Ed Harris.
John Turturro,
John
and
Turturro,
then
Robin Wright,
and then John C. Reilly.
and then John C. Reilly, who's like a baby in it.
He's a baby in it.
Anyway, it's really great.
See this movie, you'll love it. It's fucking great. What was their other one?
Oh, we watched Pearl because who was it? Cosmic Urgency. Cosmic Urgency told us to watch Pearl.
Hopefully, future Cosmic Urgency will see this because I loved it.
You did?
I fucking loved it. 4.5 tiny pineapples, 100%. I absolutely loved it. It's so weird because it's like a horror film. It had brilliant acting. It was really brilliantly written. It was just a lovely bit of everything. And it's so interesting because he had said, and I don't know how true this is, but I guess it's part of a series, and he said the rest of the series sucks. But this movie does not suck. This movie is fucking
We're going to watch
fabulous.
the rest of them, right?
I guess we'd have to. But what was her name? Mia Goth?
Mia Goth, yeah.
Fantastic.
She's in the new Frankenstein.
Well, I can't fucking wait. I'm so glad thank you, Cosmic Urgency. I'm so glad I got to future Cosmic Urgency because I'm so glad that I've been introduced to her brilliance now before I get to see her put it on display for Guillermo and the rest of us. So absolutely fucking 4.5 tiny pineapples for sure. A win for me, a big win. I thought it was a great movie.
I liked Pearl because I can tell when a director like really commits to a look. Like,
yeah.
I don't think that movie was supposed to take place in an ordinary world. I think he deliberately, like, he set up a different world. It is
set in early.
It was very much like Wizard of Oz type. Like, I think he like the colorist got a lot of direction. You know, they really made it look like
it's highly saturated,
idealistic, like Americana.
So what did you think of it? And I know you were saying you loved State of Grace, but what did you actually think of the movie? Like, what's your tiny pineapple score?
Of what? Which?
Pearl.
Oh, okay. I liked it. Yeah, I don't know how many tiny pineapples.
Well, you have to give it some. That's what we did.
Okay, like 3.
Wow, I'm really disappointed in you, Angela. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised. I thought it was brilliant. As horror films go, I thought it was brilliant. It would be something I'd be so proud of because it had just enough satire. It also had just enough humanity. It also had just enough gore. It had like kind of everything, and it was in a really well told, well directed manner. That was what was so. It's like Drag Me to Hell is another one that did that for me.
Yeah, that one was fun. I'd rewatch that. I think it's like 3 just because I kind of had issues with the pacing. I don't know.
Okay. There it is. 3 tiny pineapples from Angela for Pearl. 4.5 for me. I think you guys have to watch it and take a side. But 3 is still a good score. I would see anyone who recommended 3 out of 5 of pretty much anything. So, it's a good score. What was your score on State of Grace?
5.
5 tiny pineapples.
Yes, 5 tiny pineapples.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well,
I didn't think it was like perfect. Like, yeah, like I had some of the similar issues that you brought up that you don't want to mention because that would be a spoiler. I also had that issue. It was also
4.85 tiny pineapples.
Yeah, right. It's also like State of Grace is like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it needed to be.
Well, I love
but it was
the mood,
excellent.
tone, and pace that it sets.
I was entertained the entire time, and the acting is just absolutely something to see. If you appreciate good acting, that is one not to miss.
Yeah. So I hope you guys will take our recommendation and see State of Grace 1990 and Pearl is another great. If you like horror films, there's gore. It's good. All right.
Question for you.
Answer for me.
Feels Bad Man wants to know, what are the movies you consider a 5? It's a good question.
Well, it is a good question. I guess there are. It's hard for me to be sure. So 5 for me. Like I would give Vera Drake a 5.
Ooh, that's a good pick. Vera Drake.
Vera Drake from
That's 5.
the Great Mike Lee. I would give that a 5.
Bring your tissues.
Yeah. I would give Godfather 1 and The Godfather 2. Both of those would get 5s from me.
Okay.
For sure. Let me see. It's hard to be sure because I haven't seen it in a long time. But back in the day, I would have probably given something like Natural Born Killers a 5 too, even as outrageous as it is. Apocalypse Now, I would give a 100% a 5-star to. or like 5 Tiny Pineapples too. What else? There are a few out there. I mean, I can go on. There are more for sure. But Breaking the Waves is damn close to a 5 for me.
I remember when I watched, what's it called? Jacob's Ladder. I was like, this is probably a masterpiece.
It's pretty close. Yep, that's close to a 5 there. You know, that's, man, when you talk about like horror thriller, and then when you talk about like, from the writer of Ghost, by the way, which is such a great contrast when you think about his range as a writer, because he also wrote in Ghost an absolute fucking popcorn masterpiece in the way that it was able to create a comedy and create a thriller and create a love story, and all of those having equal power in the film. Like, it was, you know, funny and it was fucking riveting. Like that whole Ghost, that whole, you know, catch the killer part was fucking badass. Yeah. And the romance has never left me. That love story has never left me. And just those two.
You're talking about Adrian Lyne?
No, yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the writer of Jacob's Ladder. No, I'm not talking about Adrian Lyne. I'm talking.
Oh, who
I
wrote
his name's. It's a 3-name guy. Scott.
That's so cool. So he wrote Jacob's Ladder and Ghost?
Yes.
So that was like his thing.
Yeah. So, but his obviously with Jacob's Ladder, and we're not going to spoil in Jacob's Ladder if you haven't seen it. But obviously in Jacob's Ladder, we have something that's like a far more complex and more ethereally, like, I don't know, almost I would go as far as to say ethereally magnificent, versus like sort of like a Casper-y ghost kind of movie in Ghost.
Oh yeah, dude, this is his thing. He also wrote My Life. Do you remember that one? I sobbed so hard.
Is that the sick girl?
No, that's Michael Keaton. He dies.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I loved it.
So Bruce Joel Rubin is the screenwriter. My Life, Jacob's Ladder,
Bruce Joel
Ghost.
Rubin, thank you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him before. He is still with us. He's 82 years old.
Well, he's 82 years of brilliance, and if I hope I can get my writing channel going so I can give him a call and say, just come on my channel and tell. All you're going to get is praise and the opportunity to teach.
Fuck yeah. That'd
So
be dope.
bring it, because he's that good. He's that brilliant. So today's sort of first order of business was brought to you by Future Foz. So you remember that time that we were answering Foz and Foz split?
And Foz had to leave.
Yeah, and so then I answered Future Foz, and then Future Foz responded.
No, so you were like, I'm going to answer this question, but this is for Future Foz, just in case they watch the replay.
Yeah, well, you were like, Foz isn't here, so you don't really have to answer it. So I was like, no, this is for Future Foz. Well, Future Foz got my message, and so we are now speaking about something that Foz had asked for, which, or just asked if we'd talked about, and we have talked about it before, but thought we could go into a little more detail since it's Labor Day and things are kind of slow, and this is a big thing. What Foz asked about is a very big thing, and this, of course, is
why are you withholding the reveal, the big reveal?
This, of course, is Justin Baldoni's past lawsuits. I thought we could go over both of them, but with the emphasis on, and starting with, what's his name? Travis?
Yes, Travis Flores.
Mm-hmm. So, to set it up, this is not Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer's first time in court, or first time
with Blake Lively.
This Blake Lively, or It Ends With Us fiasco is not their first time. It might be Blake Lively's first time. I believe it is Blake Lively's first time. But in Wayfarer's very young existence, this is now their third lawsuit that has gotten to this stage, which is the discovery stage. And I don't know which one came first. Do you know which one came first?
I believe the Shane Norman discrimination and retaliation and fraud lawsuit came first.
So we might as well just go in chronological order.
Wayfarer was created in 2020. Like, they had another part of his lawsuit explains how they had another corporation that they were hiring people under in 2019.
Yes.
But it began in 2019.
I think that first one was like the one before the billionaire, and then they brought in the billionaire and went with a whole new entity.
Yeah, he started to move money over and then like only feed the corporation these people weren't hired under, which is part of what they think is the scam. Anyway, so the Shane Norman lawsuit, that was filed, I think.
Lisa Timms is here. Hi, Lisa.
Action filed December 8th, 2020. Okay, Shane Norman's.
Yes.
And then Travis Flores' lawsuit appears to be filed September 2021. Oh, September 1st, 2021. Hey, it's an anniversary.
September 1st, 2021.
Yeah, so we're doing the anniversary review.
I got a little lost in the chat. So you're saying then that it was Norman first?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the Norman lawsuit, we've talked about it, at length on this. But that lawsuit was brought by a black executive, and he was a high-ranking executive at the time that he was...
The reason why you're specifying he's black is because that matters for the lawsuit.
It does, of course. Yeah. So he's a black executive who was a high-ranking executive in LA, and he got kind of like wooed over to Wayfair, took the job interview, liked what he saw, and I might have seen a promotion, or I don't know, what the move was in terms of money or stature or status or whatever. But he ended up agreeing to work with Wayfair. And then not long after his employment, he ended up filing a complaint.
That's set up, though. There's a bit of falsehood in your rundown.
Oh, straighten me out, yeah.
Well, I mean, if I don't read the whole thing, it's hard to clarify. But he was in a better position. He was working. He was like running the brand of a high-level comedian actor who was like a big deal. Okay. So he was basically telling Wayfair, like, look, if I come on to Wayfair, this is going to be a big demotion for me. Like, I'm going to get a pay cut. Like, I'm more successful where I am. So they were really trying to what they told him that he would get is they promised him things down the road. I can find it. I don't have it right here in front of me.
It doesn't matter.
But part of the reason why he is alleging fraud is because of the reason that he decided to take this job is because they promised him things later. But then after this discrimination and retaliation, they withheld and then fired him. They withheld
that was a
those
part
things.
Of the retaliation.
Yeah, so he was like, well, I was promised these things and it's in writing.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't good, obviously. The relevance to this case is that Shane Norman filed a lawsuit alleging discrimination and retaliation, among other allegations. And, just now retaliation, mind you, this is 2021. Is that what you said?
This was filed in December 2020. So
December 2020. Amazing. That's crazy. I can't believe that.
It's confusing because it says, okay, so here's the cover page of the lawsuit, okay, where they say it's Shane Norman, an individual plaintiff, versus Wayfair Studios, Justin Baldoni. That's it. Oh, wow. It's Wayfair Entertainment, LLC, Wayfair Studios, LLC, and Justin Baldoni, and then Doe's 1 through 20. But so below all of the
he was the captain of the ship, Justin Baldoni, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. Below all of the complaints.
There's an announcement, by the way, to prove that. There's an announcement at one point of Jamie Heath getting his promotion. So Jamie Heath came in and then was later promoted up into a higher ranking Wayfair executive. So Justin Baldoni was the king of the ship. It was the real partnership was Sarowitz and his star, Justin Baldoni, his ticket.
His Tom Cruise Tom Cruise is to Scientology as Justin Baldoni was to Baha'i. Sarowitz and Baha'i. Okay. I have a question though. Okay. Because I don't really understand this, okay?
Sure.
And you have a lot more familiarity with lawsuits than I do. So here's this front page. See that?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's got the complaints for damages on the side here.
Okay, yeah.
And on the bottom it says action filed December 8th, 2020.
Okay.
Okay. But here at the top there's the stamp.
Yeah.
From the Superior Court of Los Angeles. Sorry, Superior Court of California County of Los Angeles. And that says June 30th, 2021. So which one is the date?
And the first one was what?
December 8th, 2020.
So that tells me that this is some kind of either addendum or perhaps, because it sounds to me like that the action was filed, the lawsuit was filed in December 8th,
2020. So that's like the date, right? Not the stamp on the top?
It appears to be that's the date. And then the stamp will be relevant to whatever motion or whatever's going on in that complaint.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you for clarifying that. I'm sure that was boring.
I'm not sure 100%. You keep doing this hasn't come by in a while because she's kind of a TikTok preferred. That's her preferred platform. So I don't have a lawyer coming yet. One day, I'm going to get a lawyer expert eventually. I just gotta rig a couple things up.
Okay, so here's the scoop on the Shane Norman lawsuit against Wayfair and Baldoni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he alleges that he was hired under Wayfair Entertainment LLC, and then soon after his hiring, he had a bunch of things in his contract that he was going to get, like milestone achievements type thing, right?
Yes.
This is what they said for him. So Wayfair Entertainment hired him, and then Sarowitz started only funding Wayfair Studios, which was brand new in 2020. So he was like, okay, well, I'm being hired by this one entity, but you guys are putting all of your money and you're producing into this other entities that I'm not working on and I don't have any contract with. So he thought that was really shady, that they were trying to just defund basically him and his role and the old production that he signed on to. But he was still doing work with them and going to the office every day. Well, then the George Floyd protests happened, and this guy was tweeting, he was writing about it on Instagram, posting about it on Instagram.
This is what makes this like a really horrendous thing, by the way, in my opinion. Like
really what?
Well, what makes it so horrendous is that like they're worried about how he, go ahead. It's awful to me. Like his allegation here is awful because it's like he wants to like participate in some social import around
outside of work
around issues that are obviously important to him.
Well, also on his meetings with the executives before he came on, Steve Sarowitz told him, we need somebody that looks like you.
This is the craziest thing ever.
So
what a thing to say to somebody.
He was told basically he was hired because of his race. Okay?
These guys don't know they're fucked up.
Well, and anyway, like, okay, fine. So you want more diversity in your production company? That's not a bad thing. But what happened was that he posted about, on Instagram, he posted about the George Floyd protests and Black Lives Matter. And then during a meeting with other producers, somebody made some remark that was offensive, and he stood up for himself. And then they began to discuss his in the meeting, he stood up for himself and had an argument. And then one of the other executives started looking up his social media and then made a complaint about the things that he was posting about. And then he was labeled to his face. Somebody told him that he was, when he was protesting this mistreatment, that he was an angry black man. And so that's stated in here, that he was, so it's discrimination based on race. So he had an issue with that mistreatment, and also these employment terms, which, he was like the entity that I got hired by is being defunded, and so what's going on and how is this going to work for me? So he met with Baldoni, and he brought him all of his grievances. He's like, I'm not getting along with people at work, and this one guy called me an angry black man, and what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, continue to work with these people as if it's normal?
Yeah.
And this was in the height of like all of these protests and stuff. Like, this is definitely something that every workplace everywhere was having to contend with, and that was good, difficult healing for everybody.
Sure.
So he was like, cool, let's have a sit down with Justin Baldoni, who's my bro. And Justin Baldoni, very much like he has been doing in the other cases we're more familiar with, he pacified him. And he
it's not even pacifying, because I feel like pacifying is it really like sort of undermines what he really did, which was he was incredibly attentive. Like, this guy said he really felt like a connection to Justin Baldoni, and Justin Baldoni, he felt heard by him. Like, I think it was more than just being pacified. Like, I think this guy like felt a certain betrayal from that meeting, because from that meeting he felt assured. Similar to the way I think Justin tried to make Blake feel on that voice message that he left on one of those apps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You remember the one we heard? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where he was that's the one where he made the comment about the boob.
He's just very good at that. And I bet that he relies on that. He's a gifted, I guess, consoler. I don't know how to put it, but he's gifted at talking people down from being upset about things and convincing them that things are going to get better. He writes a lot in evidence with Blake Lively's case. He has a lot of long emails where he's smoothing everything over a lot. He's very good at that. So here's paragraph 39 in the Shane Norman lawsuit said, once plaintiff became aware of the disparity in how his separation from Wayfair Entertainment LLC was being handled in contrast to those of his co-workers, plaintiff Plaintiff escalated his complaints to Baldoni and stated he felt targeted because of his race.
Holy shit.
Baldoni's response was to be supportive of plaintiff, to praise his work, to tell plaintiff that he wants to continue working with him. But Baldoni still failed to, 1, revoke the pay cut, 2, offer plaintiff the severance the other employees had been offered, and or 3, offer to continue to honor plaintiff's written employment contract by having plaintiff hired by Wayfair Studios, LLC, to continue working on Man Enough after the restructure that had finally been disclosed. So he basically pacified him in the meeting and then didn't do anything about it. And then what follows is allegations of retaliation.
Right. Well, so I don't know if we have to break down all the details, but the important thing here is that I guess this became something settled, right? I guess this was
yes.
evidently settled. This got sent to me actually after I did one of my videos. I can't remember which one it was. And I think it was the one I did on Zach Peter.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting though, because this is another parallel. You know how Blake Lively made protected complaints, right?
Yeah.
Like alleging sexual harassment at the workplace means that she cannot be retaliated against. Well, same thing with Shane Norman. Plaintiff engaged in the additional protected activity of complaining to Baldoni that he was being discriminated against because of his race. And so he filed a DFEH complaint for discrimination and retaliation against employers. There's just a lot of similarities. And so here's the thing is
crazy.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Justin Baldoni was in a situation where he was being sued for discrimination and retaliation. And he settled it because they played hardball and he was allowed to settle it and forget it ever existed. When I got this case, the name Shane Norman was redacted. I didn't know who this was. So it had been buried.
I'm saying I got this redacted from, I did a video on TikTok.
Right.
And then in my inbox, somebody completely mysterious, presumably it was, it felt like it was being fed to me. They were like, this is getting out right now. So it was like I was getting fed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting though. I'm glad that happened.
So yeah,
but my point for saying that was that I think that he was going to try and do the same thing. It was like he was like, oh well, let's just do what we did with Shane Norman with Blake Lively. Let's just she's filing a lawsuit of discrimination and retaliation, so we'll just settle this like we did with Shane Norman. It'll go the same way.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
It was interesting. Foz says asking who sent it to me. So it was just somebody, I don't know. I still have the TikTok message, I'm sure, but it came through TikTok. And they sent I don't know how they sent it, but anyway, they let me know that it was there and that it existed and that was it. I never really spoke to them about it. I just said, thanks. And I sat on it for a few days because I didn't know how real it was, I didn't want to get played. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, especially because the name was redacted.
Yeah, the obviously the redacting of the.
Also, if you go onto Shane Norman's Instagram now, you can no longer find any of those posts regarding, the 2020 protests.
Right.
So he took them all down.
So that was the first big lawsuit, or I don't know, big but important lawsuit filed against Justin Baldoni in particular.
And we don't know what
the only guy cited.
We don't know what the outcome of that was, right?
Beyond that, there was obviously a settlement because it didn't go to trial. So we know it didn't go to trial. So that,
No, it says on the lawsuit, demand for jury trial, and that didn't happen.
My guess is that it was settled by, Norman getting a decent settlement. That he was like, okay, fine. I'll take the money and go.
The Flores v. Baldoni case, this one's much shorter. I think I'm just going to read it.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. But before you do, just to set it up, this is the one that bothered me the most because they're both horrible. They're both terrible. If they're both true, I guess they both bother me equally, actually.
Yeah, the Shane Norman case has a lot to do, a lot of similarities with Blake Lively's allegations. So it kind of, you're like, oh, well, that's a pattern of behavior, isn't it? This is what these people do at Wayfair.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying this one bothers me most because this is the case of 5 feet apart, and the allegation against Justin Baldoni that he stole that story from somebody with cystic fibrosis who was and has since succumbed to the disease, but he was dying of the disease at the time. This was his passion project, obviously. It's a really cool story.
This is also really interesting because Travis Flores is being represented by Brian Friedman. This is apparently how Justin Baldoni met him first. He was opposing counsel.
I find this like disturbing almost.
Isn't that interesting?
Frankly, I find it disturbing.
Well, yeah, you know what's really fucked up is that the settlement, Travis Flores wasn't happy about it. So Brian Friedman entered into a settlement that in Justin Baldoni's favor when he was opposing counsel, and now he works for him.
It's so
That's
shady.
Fucking shady.
It's fucking shady, dude.
So,
And this and his client is dead. So he can have totally fucked that guy over as a part of, you know, and then ending up with, because he knew like Flores was a one-shot deal.
Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's moneybags over here.
Moneybags. He's got a billionaire. He's got a billionaire.
I don't like that guy.
It's such a mess. That's a mess right there. Like that already makes that lawsuit, makes everything, the whole thing just really nasty. Like makes Friedman like really deeply disturbing dude.
Anyway, I was going to read this today because it's so well described that I was like, oh, well, I can't summarize it any better than this. It's really short. This is just about 10 pages and they read fast. But I was thinking while I was reading this, I was like, wow, we're really hearing the story from a dead man. And I was like, that's so weird because Justin Baldoni thinks that he communes with dead people. You know, he's like always mentioning that he like there's that fucked up manipulation he was trying with.
That's crazy. Well, now we get to commune with dead people. Before you start that, just a quick plea for likes. Please like the live if you're hanging out with us. What typically happens when we talk about these topics is that a lot of Team Baldoni, you know them when you see them in the chat. They're very passionate.
Are there any with us now?
Yeah, we've had one so far.
Well, that's great. Hopefully they enjoy story time.
A lot of them don't speak. They just, what they do is they show up in the live and then they hear us talking and they think, oh, these guys are, they're whatever Team Lively. And then what they do is they hit the dislike button. I wish there wasn't a dislike button.
I don't know. I don't know why there is. It's kind of fucked up. People try really hard to create videos. I don't think they should ever get dislikes.
Yeah, exactly. Either like it or don't like it.
That's right.
So but they have a dislike button and it's a bummer. And so typically we end up like on the sort of short end of that. So just know that when we're talking Baldoni, your likes are going to help keep the algorithm, keep us in it. Because when we're not talking about Baldoni, our likes are 80, 90% in our favor. As soon as we talk about them, we've gone as low as 35%.
Yeah, so you can tell what's happening.
Yeah, so they're coming after us.
Okay, so
please read.
Travis Flores is suing Justin Baldoni, Caleb Remington, Wayfair Entertainment, Well Entertainment, Lionsgate Inc., CBS Films Inc., Ambry Genetics Corporation, and Doe's 1 through 100 inclusive. Complaint for damages for copyright infringement, breach of contract, interference with contract, demand for a jury trial, which didn't happen. Okay. Here's the facts. Travis Flores is an activist, philanthropist, motivational speaker, actor, screenwriter, and children's book author. After being diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at the age of 4 months and being given just a few years to live, Flores has battled cystic fibrosis for 30 years to develop a successful life and career. Flores has become a powerful influencer in the cystic fibrosis community through his activism for nonprofit organizations like Make-A-Wish, through his online blogging and YouTube channel, through his speaking engagements across the country, and through various other works in the entertainment industry. Beginning in approximately 2010, Flores began writing a fictional screenplay inspired by his own life and struggles. It was titled 3 Feet Distance. The title was based on medical guidance that cystic fibrosis...
Just stop right there, like 3 feet distance.
Yeah.
5 feet apart.
Yes, I know.
Oh,
they're going to talk about it.
That's like it kept right in the teeth right there.
The title was based on medical guidance that cystic fibrosis patients should never get closer to each other than 3 feet because they're prone to spreading harmful bacteria to each other. 3 Feet Distance is about a group of chronically ill teens who come together to share their stories and learn that physical distance does not define their relationships. In October 2015, Damien Pictures, an affiliate of Universal, optioned Flores' screenplay and began pre-production, attaching a cast and director to the project. Concurrently, Flores registered his work with the Writers Guild of America and obtained a registered copyright. Although Damien Pictures did not end up making 3 Feet Distance into a film, Flores continued pitching 3 Feet Distance to film studios and other parties interested in developing this work. In February 2016, Ambry Genetics, which is a company whose primary mission is to sell genetic testing, including for cystic fibrosis, expressed interest in 3 Feet Distance. At Ambry's request, pursuant to an express agreement to keep the script confidential and standard implied agreement in the a standard implied agreement in the entertainment industry to forego using the script without attaching Flores. Flores emailed a copy of that screenplay to several Ambry representatives, including defendant Caleb Remington. In January 2017.
By the way, so did you name the defendants?
Yes.
Okay, good. So everyone got to hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed it. Okay.
Do you want me to do it again?
No, not necessarily. No, I just want to make sure that
it's Justin Baldoni and then Caleb Remington and then a bunch of companies.
Well, CBS Films. This is what is just notable about that is notice how this guy did sue the studios.
Yes, Lionsgate too.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Lionsgate. Like everybody that had a part in the production of this. I'm just saying, like Baldoni didn't sue Sony.
No, he doesn't even mention them. All their names are redacted. Everybody that worked at Sony. It's.
Go ahead.
I think it's telling.
Just putting it out.
Okay. In January 2017, defendant CBS Films announced that it had decided to begin development of an untitled film from defendant Justin Baldoni and his production company, defendant Wayfarer Entertainment, about teens with cystic fibrosis, which would be Baldoni's feature film debut as both a director and a producer. The year after the announcement of Baldoni's untitled film, Baldoni asked Flores to appear in a documentary series called My Last Days about young people with terminal illnesses. Flores agreed, but he made a concerted effort to avoid disclosing any portion of 3 Feet Distance to Baldoni. Flores kept his screenplay from Baldoni, both because Flores had a policy of keeping his work confidential and because Baldoni was working on the feature film project that Flores viewed as competitive. Unbeknownst to Flores, however, Baldoni already had a different source to provide him with information about 3 Feet Distance. As it turned out, Baldoni's film, which became titled 5 Feet Apart, would copy numerous elements of 3 Feet Distance. Moreover, Baldoni consulted extensively about the content of 5 Feet Apart with Caleb Remington. And Caleb Remington is one of the representatives of Ambry to whom Flores sent the screenplay for 3 Feet Distance.
It's just fucked up. That's just fucked up.
So it now has become apparent that Remington provided the script or large portions thereof to Baldoni and to others who are working on 5 Feet Apart, and that 5 Feet Apart copied numerous key elements of 3 Feet Distance. Flores is pursuing this lawsuit to obtain relief from Remington and Ambry for a breach of and interference with their agreement not to disclose 3 Feet Distance, and against Baldoni, Remington, Wayfarer, Lionsgate, and CBS Films for infringing on his registered copyright for 3 Feet Distance.
Well, it's just that's explosive to me.
Okay, so here are the substantially similar, even strikingly similar similarities between 5 Feet Apart and 3 Feet Distance. Okay. These are lettered. A, mood. The mood of both films is extremely similar in that both are tear-jerking romance stories. Themes. A theme of both works is the importance of touch in relationships, and yet the ability of people to maintain closeness even when they are unable to touch each other. Another theme that the works share is that the lead character has emotional barriers to connecting with other people. A third theme is that the works share is the importance of living in the here and now. Setting. Both works are set in a group environment where a number of chronically ill teens have come together. Characters. Both works center around a narrator/protagonist and prominently feature the narrator's platonic friend and the narrator's love interest. In 3 Feet Distance, which is Flores, the narrator protagonist is Alex, and in 5 Feet Apart, the corresponding character is Stella. In 3 Feet Distance, the platonic friend is Kevin, and in 5 Feet Apart, the corresponding character is Poe. Poe. And in 3 Feet Distance, the love interest is Jesse, and in 5 Feet Apart, the corresponding character is Will. Stella and Alex are both 17-year-old cystic fibrosis patients who have barriers to creating new relationships, who learn to live in the here and now and are willing to push the boundaries of the medical guidance for cystic fibrosis patients to maintain physical distance so they can pursue romance. In each work, the narrator initially does not want to talk about their dead sister. A dead sister is a similarity. But the narrator ultimately discloses having a dead sister. Moreover, although the dead sister is not physically present in either work, either during the present time or in flashbacks, each work extensively addresses the sister's death, playing a key role in the narrator's emotional development. For example, just as Stella learns from her sister Abby that she must live in the here and now and be spontaneous, Alex learns from his sister Mackenzie to do things he has never done and to live life rather than thinking life. The fact that the sister is not present in either work also reinforces the theme that relationships can remain meaningful even when people cannot physically touch each other. Will and Jesse are also both 17-year-old cystic fibrosis patients. They both are edgier than the narrator and romantically pursue the narrator. Both of them also discuss having other experiences with romance, whereas the narrator in each work is more innocent. Kevin and Poe both are the platonic opposite sex friend of the narrator. Both of them have their own romantic interests, but express difficulty committing. In the end, both also end up realizing their mistake in failing to commit to their love interest, but end up being unable to follow through in declaring their love because illness gets in the way. The ensemble cast in both films is less relevant than the three main characters, but it is noteworthy that both works feature one nurse who plays a significant role and one doctor who plays a minimal role. He goes on to say, plot, pace, sequence of events, and dialogue. Numerous distinctive events occur in both works and are highly similar. Do you want me to read all these?
Sure. Why not? Are you guys down with it? Because I think it's fascinating.
In both works, mementos play an important role in helping to overcome the barrier of being physically distant. In both works, the narrator has one or more...
Mementos, the candy. Mementos, like,
yes.
Okay.
It might be candy.
I thought it was like put a memento in your Coke
Mementos.
kind of thing.
Mementos. Not
Okay.
Mentos.
Oh, that's Mentos.
Mentos.
No,
Get with the program, Dale.
Well,
Got to get your head in the game.
I'm losing it.
In both works, the narrator has one or more important mementos from their dead sister. Alex has a journal, Stella has artwork on her wall, and a stuffed panda. In addition, the narrator shares mementos with their love interest. In 3 Feet Distance, Alex sends the journal to Jesse. In 5 Feet Apart, Will gives his drawing of Stella to her. Both works include sex, but not involving the narrator or the love interest. In 3 Feet Distance, Kevin has sex with Amber. In 5 Feet Apart, Will lends his room to 2 of his friends to have sex. Both works, that seems very dissimilar to me. Both works introduce the narrator's platonic friend relationship early in the work and make the nature of the relationship clear by having one call the other an asshole. That's so similar. Fuck, dude. In both works, one of the main characters is the guest of honor at a surprise party that the other main characters plan. In both works, the narrator initially resists the temptation to get involved in a romantic relationship, but confesses feelings to their love interest while under the influence of drugs. Both works show the narrator and their love interest pushing the boundaries set for their romantic relationships while skinny dipping. In both cases, the narrator talks about... I know.
That's like...
This is fucking... I didn't know it was like this many.
Theft.
In both cases, the narrator talks about their dead sister, even though the event is supposed to be romantic. Although 3 Feet Distance shows both good and bad events happening at a dock, 5 Feet Apart splits the water scenes into 2 parts, the skinny dipping at a pool and the more dangerous scene at a bridge. Both works feature a forbidden kiss between the 2 main characters. In 5 Feet Apart, the kiss takes the form of mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but it nevertheless serves the same purpose of showing the ephemeral fulfillment of the main character's desire to be physically close. At the end of both works, the main characters have to separate, and one of the main characters discloses that their death is imminent. The similarities between these 2 works extend far beyond the limited examples referenced above. Some of the similarities are seemingly small, like the wardrobe choice of showing the main character for the first time wearing a V-neck t-shirt. Others are more significant to the overall development of the work. Cool. So then it continues jurisdiction, venue, and parties. So this is where they establish that they have jurisdiction.
I mean, that was just a comment on all that. That's just, I think
that is so much.
That's overwhelming. By the way, this lawsuit, lacking all the hyperbole of the Wayfarer suit, doesn't it?
It does.
It sounds like this one was written by a litigation attorney, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Who isn't trying to get publicity, but just working on a legal brief.
Oh my God, he's not working with a publicist.
This is Brian Friedman when he's not working with a publicist or those publicists.
That's a really good point.
This fucking litigation right here is the way Brian Friedman... This is why you hire Brian Friedman.
Because he usually does that.
Because this is what he does. He writes a legal brief that breaks down succinctly, the claims made by the plaintiff or his client, or any defendant that he might be representing. So there you go, man. Who's behind it all? Is it Brian Friedman? Well, I think in part, but he's just gung ho with Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel.
Anyway,
Jennifer.
They continue to talk about like the specifics of how this Remington guy had obtained the screenplay, and then how he continued to work with Baldoni. I don't think I have to go through all this if you don't want me to.
No, that's fine.
Anyway, yeah, I think I'm done reading. But this is like, and then also why the other production companies are named.
So look, we've talked about this at length, and I'm happy to talk about it again because I think it's worth. And maybe we'll get something like cuttable that I actually can get on the channel.
Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just want to say what he's actually asking for. Plaintiffs pray for judgment in their favor against defendants in each of them as follows: for actual damages and defendants' profits in an amount according to proof at trial. In the alternative, for statutory damages of $150,000 per infringement pursuant to a law they're citing. For costs and attorney's fees pursuant to law, and for punitive damages for interest at the legal rate. That's it.
There was no discussion about credit?
No discussion.
Or acknowledgement in the remedy?
He is not asking for credit in the remedy. No.
For any kind of...
He wants profits.
Interesting request. It's just so weird. Money is such a fucking weird thing. Like, you're dying. He died before this lawsuit could settle.
I don't know that he could he ask for a story by credit after the thing has been,
Yeah, well, you can ask for all future copies to have based on story by.
I'm surprised he didn't.
You can ask them to change the print. You can ask them for sure. Of course you can. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Running with Scissors, I think that's the one. I don't know if I may have my memoirs mistake. Like I may have them
I think that's
confused,
the one though.
But I think it's Running with Scissors. And they got sued by family members. The author got sued by family members saying that he had exaggerated or whatever, even fictionalized part of his memoir. And he sued. So he was sued they sued. And so the judgment came out where the author had to acknowledge that to some degree, I guess. I don't know what it was exactly. He still had to call it a memoir, but I can't remember what it was, specifically the outcome. But aside from the fact that he had to say something similar to what I say in my book, actually. In my preface, I actually modeled this from this case so that I could prevent, potentially, because I didn't have a lawyer. So I studied this case a little bit because I was like, what if these guys come after me? You know what I'm saying? And so I'll give you an example of it right here.
You're reading your book?
Yeah, this will be coming from mine as soon as I find it.
And I don't know if everybody can see that.
My book here. To Real Hollywood Memoir by yours truly. We have, if you don't know who that is, links in my stuff and all that stuff. All right, here it is. So let me read this because this is interesting. Because this is like me trying to prevent that very problem. I wrote a lot of dialogue for this book, but I approached it much differently than I do fiction. And by the way, the reason why I went with this particular item is because I knew immediately people were going to challenge my memory because I write so much fluent dialogue. It's like, and so this was my explanation to, how I came to write the dialogue. I wrote a lot of dialogue for this book, but I approached it much differently than I do fiction. When I was deposed in Stutman v. DiCaprio, the lawyers asked about conversations from our past, and I was hesitant because I was under oath, and I couldn't possibly be sure of exactly what everyone had said. So one of the lawyers explained the legal understanding of the term sum and substance. He said the dialogue I provide in my sworn testimony isn't meant to represent exact quotes, but rather the spirit of the conversation and what was said by each person. The dialogue in this book represents, to the best of my ability, the spirit of the conversations I witnessed and participated in. I did my absolute best to represent each person as authentically as possible and with every respect for their character, but this is certainly a book from my perspective, and that includes the dialogue I've written for all the people who appear in it. And so I created that paragraph as my okay, what can I learn from Running with Scissors?
Yeah.
But I've digressed completely from the point, which is, yes, that book now has in its print that paragraphs in roulette, which is basically saying, hey, while this is my memory,
These aren't verbatim
It
quotes.
can't be verbatim because that's impossible.
Yeah, so you're saying that even though the theatrical release or whatever, CBS, whatever, it's a TV movie? I don't know.
Which
5 Feet Apart.
no, that got theatrical release. It did $100 million.
Oh, okay, cool. So Travis Flores is like, even though it wasn't a story by Travis Flores in the theatrical release, you're saying that he might have asked for all of the videos and stuff to have
all the videos, all the
IMDb,
streaming, all the print, the IMDb credit, everything.
I don't know why he didn't ask for that.
Because that would be the only thing that would could have possibly had any real meaning, because he knew he was
Do you think he was
dying.
Do you think he didn't ask for that because he was still trying to shop his screenplay? Because he didn't want his credit to go on somebody's copied work. He wanted his own screenplay to.
I don't know. I would guess that he probably knew his movie was dead, which is why he sued. He had it set up with a producer that had a at least a housekeeping deal, but maybe even like a first look, even maybe like a put deal where they actually have a slot on the release calendar. And so he was in a good spot to win, but yeah, he got fucking dealt it, and he got dealt it by a guy like. It is shitty to steal anything from anybody. It is particularly shitty when you're stealing somebody's creative work because of the amount of work. Like, it's one thing to like, I buy something and you steal it from me, my property, which may be insured or, it's just made of money anyway. My work, my actual work, like if somebody stole my work, like the way Leo kind of stole our movie from us, at least exploiting it the way it should have been exploited, releasing it the way it should have been released. But in this case, even worse, right? Where his actual creative, his heart and soul, really. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, imagine having cystic fibrosis, Jesus, Dale, cystic fibrosis, and having this terrible disease, knowing that you have this bleak future, this very short life, and from that coming this really passionate story that is. I don't know if you've ever seen the John Travolta and the Boy in the Bubble. Did you ever see that?
No.
It was a fascinating. Well, so it's a story about a kid who had to live his whole life in a bubble, basically, because if he breathed there, he would die. And it was a very young John Travolta. Like it's fuck. I haven't seen that movie in 40 years. That's how long ago it was. But there were these moments, where he's like touching between the tent, and there was these moments where he's trying to have this like human connection, and there's a love story where he wants to have, but he can't fucking touch the person he's fallen in love with, and who has fallen in love with him because he's John Travolta. He's extremely charming, a very young John Travolta. So, that's magical. That kind of concept is magical, and to have that be the driving creative force, or have your own experience, your own longing for that life, that longing for that moment. Because if Travis Flores did not personally experience this was his dream, this was his fantasy, this was his moment in his life where he got to feel something that we all very easily can take for granted. Mm-hmm. Right? Something taken from him. I've had things taken from me that drive me absolutely mad some mornings. I can't imagine what it'd be like to have it in that way.
Yeah,
in such a final way too.
His family too has been really vocal in their hatred for Justin Baldoni too. It's really, I'm glad that they're not fucking letting up, because they feel like Travis was wronged. They feel like he was wronged by his lawyers too. I wonder if
Lisa says 5 Feet Apart was a good movie. I bet. It sounds like a great concept. Like, honestly, it sounds like a super badass, like, look, I think
kind of wish it was original.
I think me and Justin Baldoni kind of probably share a couple of things creatively. Like, I like to make people cry. I just do. I think making people cry is like, yeah.
That's a big achievement.
What's the big one? Especially because a lot of people battle it. Some people are like, yeah, make me cry. I'm ready for it. And you see that and suggest me a book. I'm ready to cry my eyes out. Suggest me a book. Like, it happens all the time. But I like catching people out of nowhere with like grabbing their throat and be like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. Now I'm finding myself in this emotionally vulnerable spot. So making people emotionally vulnerable is a really wonderful thing to achieve in your writing or in your filmmaking. And I think Justin Baldoni loves that. And what a story to do it with. Holy shit.
I found it. Oh, I didn't. This is from Travis Flores.
Lisa's asking if I'd ever worked with Baldoni in his studio. No, never, never, never. Never. I would have if I didn't know about all this shit, though, you know, for sure. But no, I could never work with Justin Baldoni because of the risk. The same reason why studios wouldn't insure him. I just take my differences with them aside. They couldn't get insured. I can't imagine how. After this lawsuit?
Yeah, well, after they lied to insurers and then sued more of them.
Yeah, suing all the insurance companies, suing your star. And then where evidence is potentially, where evidence, suggests that they tried to sabotage their star during the release of their movie.
Yeah.
Which is just wild.
I mean, he's lucky. Apparently, people have been comparing all of the highest grossing films.
Yeah.
And It Ends With Us is up there, like in the top 5
of
the year.
$26 million to $350 million budget.
He is so lucky, though, that he didn't tank that release because he was working behind the scenes. Do you think Sony's going to fucking work with him again? Do you think any studio is going to be like, oh, okay, cool. We're going to pour a bunch of money into your project to make you wealthy, to make the release and marketing of your film as successful as can possibly be. Yeah. And then you're going to fucking sick your publicists against your star?
Insanity.
and because people could have boycotted the movie in defense of him. And he wouldn't have been able to control that.
Nope.
Because he was stoking exactly that much hatred for Blake Lively. It's fucking weird. It's a super weird choice to fuck with your own business, but also Sony's business like that and expect to have a career.
Well, this is why I think he's a narcissist. That's one more piece of that narcissistic puzzle that you would go to that extent.
Like, I just feel like that word is thrown would not get in their
own what narcissism.
Yeah, I feel like
it doesn't change the fact that narcissism is a real thing and worth exploration when you're seeing people do things as dramatic as interfering with their own success for the sake of their reputation, for the sake of their personal reputation.
I think that he was dealing with some dysfunctional thinking. I feel like sometimes people get so overcome with emotions that they don't really think strategically. I don't think that if he nobody around him
there's evidence for that.
Nobody was telling him at the time, like, hey, bro, if you do this, this could blow back on you. Like, this could be detrimental to your own business. Are you sure you want to think this through? Like, nobody was trying to tell him about the long play.
Well, and there is evidence. Like, I mean, I'm ready to go to war. Like, you don't say that if you have any humility in this situation.
You're also not thinking because
you're not thinking because you're going to go to war over your success.
Yeah, saying I'm ready to go to war means that you are not a strategist. There is absolutely nobody who knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to these terms of war, like whatever kind of warfare he's picturing with his professional or reputational or whatever. Anybody who knows anything or has been through anything like that would always avoid war. Yeah. You'd always avoid it. Of course. Because the only way that you're going to prevail is if you fucking avoid it.
Well, you can't it's a carny life. So if you burn down all your tents, you can't fucking make any more money. Like it's a carny life. You're unemployed. The minute you finish that job, that's a wrap. That's it. Now you got to start over. And by starting over, I'm talking about look, it got real easy for Baldoni, and it would have gotten easier with a $350 million success story off a $26 million budget. Like, his life would have gotten easier. This guy would have been an absolute force. Like, because he would have been more successful than Jason Blum if they could keep that kind of because 5 Feet Apart did $100 million, Angela.
He's like a golden boy.
So he's like a golden boy, bro. $500 million in 2 movies with budgets that don't even approach $50 million combined. Like, Jason Blum's the only guy who comes close to that in terms of ratios, and he's got to put a lot more production out there than Baldoni. It's like a golden child, bro, to fuck that up. Some personal stuff. Lisa said that she saw a small group and really enjoyed it, which is really delightful to hear. Thank you. That was an interesting movie for me because I was able to help some people out, kind of make their dream come true. And for me, I was able to develop a writer from who was like a guy working in a marketing business, all the way to becoming a writer, director, and star of his movie. And it was a really fun project for me in that respect, even if I'm, even if that material isn't particularly my kind of material. But funny enough that you saw Small Group, because I don't know when you watched it, but there was this point in the weekend where my performance just popped into my head. I was just sitting there.
Yours?
This weekend, yeah. And I was
That's
like,
funny.
and I was feeling, how you like have those regrets in life of things you've said,
Yeah.
And I was just like regretting
That
some
happens
of
to me every single day.
And I was,
Every single day I regret something I said.
so I was having that with
That's called social anxiety.
Small Group. And Lisa Tim's got her book.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's exciting.
Wait, I'm not done talking about this.
No, I know that.
What is it? Is something in Small Group that you said?
Well, just like my performance in general.
Oh, okay. You just don't think you did a good job?
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
I have a
great.
cameo in Small Group. I have a little cameo.
Just like Alfred
I
Hitchcock.
don't really give a shit really about it, but it had popped into my head this weekend. And I was like, fuck, why am I thinking about this? And I was like, oh, God, I should have. Because there was a specific thing I was going for. And then I got up and I choked like I fucking always do.
Oh, you were going to be like bigger?
Well, it wasn't so much as big as there's a very specific, like, whatever they call him, soapbox guy
Yeah.
that I was going for, that I had imagined, and I had him like perfectly built. Like I could have written him.
You needed to
like
rehearse.
gold.
You needed to rehearse. That's all.
And I didn't rehearse.
You
So I just
didn't.
got up on that soapbox, and everything that I had dreamed up kind of came out a little ground beefy.
Bro, that is so relatable. I feel like that happens to me every day.
It's the evolution of art, man. Like it's the evolution of art, especially like performance art or like literature or any kind of writing. Because like, when you write, well, first of all, you think of the idea and then you're like, oh, the idea. Oh my God, this is the fucking woo. And then you write it and you're like, what the fuck is this? This isn't that idea. But hey, this has some workable shit. And then you start working with that workable shit, and all of a sudden your idea is now evolved into this thing that you never quite imagined, but it's starting to like gain all these like really strong, colorful, creative aspects and whatever. And it's just like, this is just where art evolves this way. It's just like I start a scene and I fucking write that scene, and I think in my head it's like going like this, and I get it on paper, it didn't quite go like that, but then I like work with what I get, and then I start forming that into the scene it actually becomes. And so it's interesting because I don't think anything I've ever actually dreamed of has ever come to fruition in any way through the process.
I think that's
Just-
one of the biggest barriers for creatives because that experience is so painful. When you have an idea and you try to begin articulating it, in whatever medium you're
Yeah.
using, and it doesn't come through, and then you sort of start to lose the clarity of the idea because you're trying to shape this fucking wad
Yeah.
that doesn't look anything like it. I feel like that experience is so like bewildering and awful that it keeps people from doing it at all.
It's why what I do.
Because the idea that you have is so pure and good that as long as it gets to just stay there and not be like fucked up by your attempts to try to make it alive,
Well, what I do
then it's better.
is that's why I try to build things around emotional ideas. Because if I understand the emotional goals of every scene, then everything else can become flexible except that. So, and those emotional goals are typically what I want you to experience as the consumer, the reader, the watcher, whatever it might be. So if I want you to cry, and I want you to cry because of a loss of life, call it that, right? Then it doesn't matter how I get there. As long as I get there, then I've achieved the goal of the scene. So it creates like this field of flexibility that allows me to work around all of my inadequacies, because my strength is the conveyance, the transferring of emotion from me to you. That's what I do best. So I rely on that. I'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to rely on that and not have to rely on me getting the picture in my head so perfect on the page. Rather, make sure that emotion, that feeling is transferred to the reader.
Sounds so hard. It's very brave.
Lisa's like, repent. It was really fun. Well, I like the character. I do like the one-liner. The one-liner, it's funny because when I was thinking about it, I also patted myself on the back because these are the fuck you are seeking. What is it? The words? These are the words you are seeking. I can't remember what I said, but it was,
I can't remember either.
it's like a off distance, like little shout to.
No, I like the sound work on that.
It was also fun because like I'm basically, at that time I would have said I was even more atheist than I am today. Today I've kind of returned a lot to my spiritual roots, really, which, you know, I think are still science-based ultimately, but are more, you know, quantum and metaphysics kind of braided together, as I guess they would be. But back then I was like an atheist, so that was why I wanted that part. I was like, give me that part, man, because I'm straight up like, I'm a straight up non-believer, man. I want to preach, which is like probably true for half the believers. As a matter of fact, what I learned while making this movie is from Matt, the director, the writer, the guy who played Shane, that he says, he's like, dude, a significant portion of people who attend evangelical churches are non-believers. But
what does he mean? A significant portion?
Yeah, a significant portion.
Do you know what the percentage is?
He didn't say, and I didn't pursue it, but it made sense because he said that these people are raised, they're born in this culture.
Oh.
And they can't get out of it if they walk out, if they turn their back on the church, they turn their back on their entire life foundation.
Yeah, their whole community goes to church.
Everything. So it's just like if you turn he's like, there are so many people who show up and they're like, praise Jesus.
This
and
is
they go
one
home
of the.
And they hit the whiskey.
This is one of the reasons why I loved the Righteous Gemstones show so much, because they really poked fun at that. They have these evangelical preachers, and every time somebody asks them to pray, they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because they don't fucking believe in any of that shit.
Yeah, of course.
They don't know what they're doing.
How do you be like, it's a funny
They're
thing
just there for the money and the business of it.
I have a different. I do have a belief in prayer in a different way than would be like to pray to an entity for some kind of guidance or something, whatever, some kind of receipt, as opposed to like which I'm talking about, which is like kind of singing to the universe in a way. You know what I mean? King Gator asked if I would ever consider facilitating a writers group. 100%. It's something I plan to do. I have a gentleman now who's like a big supporter, and we're talking about like retreat. You know, he's a real estate guy. He owns a bunch of real estate all over the country.
I don't know how that works though. So like, because writing is such like a solitary job. Like we have to be where it's quiet. Like you can't just like hang out and talk and also do writing. Well, so it's so interesting how people are doing like writers retreats. Like,
well, groups are different. I mean, I would have to plan out a retreat, but as far as a writers group goes, for me, I would try to teach through inspiration, like, and teach through like consideration, because I'm not really someone who believes in one way of anything. And I don't think that there are very who probably do.
Yeah, I also have heard really bad horror stories of people who join one of those like writers groups where you read and critique.
Yeah.
And people get like really awful, like really like feedback that really kind of hurts their progress, you know?
Yeah.
Like makes them feel bad.
Something I thought about doing was, instead of reading and critiquing, was just doing like well, we probably shouldn't get into it in this life, but yes, 100% I'm going to do that. I actually have Dale's Writing Room as a channel right now, has 2 subscribers. Dr. Susan, she's not here. Cosmic Urgency, he's not here. Those are my 2 subscribers right now. But it's called Dale's Writing Room. I'm going to launch it as soon as I get my shit together on this channel, because I'm still like a little technically messed up on this one. I have not got the workflow out yet, because we are putting out, I got to tell you, man, we are inspired with these people around us. These people inspire, you guys.
In the chat?
100%. They inspire us.
For sure.
We have really cool conversations that are really fun to cut together.
Yeah, like even today, like Foz was like, hey, can you cover the Travis Flores, Justin Baldoni lawsuit? And I was like, yeah, man, that nobody's really talking about this. People should. It's fucking great.
And beyond like bringing us like, ideas or requests for content, just in general, I think they inspire us to, really like, I don't know, whatever. All I can tell you is that I'm cutting the stuff together, and it's really solid, really fun. It's a fun little entertainment channel, and it all revolves around what's coming out of the community that we're building. It's fucking cool. And so
I love it.
I'm working toward getting that workflow down, which is really extensive, because we're also producing a ridiculous amount of content at 2 hours a day for 5 days a week. So I got to bring on editing help, and I'm really taxing. I have like a sole investor, and I'm taxing this dude so hard. He's like, dude, what? I got to rebuild it.
Can I get into the chat a little bit?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so King Gator was saying, you know how you said that you thought that Justin Baldoni acted like a narcissist?
Yeah.
And that was in reference to what exactly?
The idea that he would
attack
actually
his...
try to sabotage his own work
Right.
for fear of his reputation.
Right. Rather than taking accountability for his behavior or his lack
Right.
of addressing things properly, which is just a simple thing to do. You could just be like, yo, dude, I'm new at this. Like, I didn't know how it's supposed to go. Like, I fucked up and like everything's cool now.
Yeah. And if you feel like you're being wronged, you sign the fucking statement and then you're like, look, man, what I try to do is try to just minimize the damage in the situation as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, right.
I am in complete disagreement with Blake Lively. She's in complete disagreement with me, and we're gonna just go our separate ways, and hopefully this will mend in its own way.
Oh
and
my
we can just
God,
move on.
I know.
Like instead,
It could have been so easy.
He just gets the pitchfork out, like
Yeah.
he wants to go to war, as he put it.
Right. And so King Gator said that instead he thinks it's entitlement and grandiosity. It doesn't need to be a mental health problem. It's a pretty common thing for good-looking men, especially in the acting world, or rather entitlement and arrogance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether that's all, though, because
like the
there's
grandiosity
something
part,
that
too,
tilted
because-
him so much that he went against his own best interests. Like that he wanted to oppose a movie star. Just seems like just if somebody was
And
like,
ultimately a studio.
hey, yeah, oh my God, I know. If somebody's like, hey, you're just starting out. What about if everybody knows you as the guy who like went to war with this movie star and a major studio? Like, I don't know.
The one
It
you
just
hired.
seems like a really fucking bad idea. I feel like there were plenty of ways. Like if Steve Sarowitz, instead of saying, I'm going to spend $100 million burying Blake Lively, right? Destroying her, whatever Brian Friedman said.
He could have spent $2 million
Into oblivion.
and install a really effective HR unit.
Yes. Or he could have spent a fraction of that and gotten the very best mediation service in
Correct.
the whole state.
Absolutely.
To come down and like just lay it all out on
Let's
the
get in the
table and be
room.
like, let's negotiate
We're gonna
so
have-
that none of this has to go any further. How can we make everybody happy?
Everything but what he did.
Everything
There's
but what he
this-
did.
Everything but what he did. You know, and this is why I think it's narcissistic, because I think it breaks your brain. He was, now look, I think that you guys are right. Both you and King Gator are right in your assessment, because I don't think it's just the one thing. I think narcissism is a part of is in play, because I think that his ego, look, and Hollywood, I can't
It's just
describe
weird
this,
to pathologize something. Like I think that he's self-centered.
But it's not just
for
that, it's
better
not-
or for
it's
worse.
not-
Like,
it's-
you know,
Yep.
some people are just self-centered.
But it's not just that. It's my experience in Hollywood and
Okay.
dealing with people. Like, listen, you haven't seen selfishness like you see it on display in Hollywood acting, like among the actors in particular, the on-camera talent. And you have to understand, like, vanity is a requirement for most of them. Like, you have to have it to be able to pull this shit off. I don't have it. It's a part of why I kind of
Dude.
crumble in front of the camera.
Absolutely, because there's so much of their job that involves rejection constantly. Like
Yes, so you have to believe in
kinda
yourself delusionally almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
it's
It's
true.
so hard. I did it for just like 2 years or something, and I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like this is damaging."
It's fucking hard. It's hard. It takes a lot of self-belief, right? And not just like I'm good enough. You have to believe you're special. You have to believe you're above the rest. There's a lot of vanity involved in the process of being an actor. And this is, I think that this is where the danger zone really, I think, came into play for him, because he tried to be so much all at once with this movie that he had reputationally everything at stake. He had his acting career at stake. He has his directing career, his producing career. He put it all.
Which is so weird, because don't you
the
think
line.
that he would have been more protective? This is what's strange. He didn't have. They say that he attacked Blake Lively with his publicist out of self-defense.
Yeah.
But anybody who would be thinking self-defense would be like, okay, well, how am I going to ensure that I take the least amount of damage? Right? Like, I'm not going to go throw myself into a fucking, steaming cauldron of fucking, uncertainty, like a lawsuit, right? You would make sure that you're defending yourself from getting dragged into a lawsuit. It's just so strange. Like, none of what he did was self-defensive, because
It's
self-defensive would have been avoiding all of this fucking tension and the anxiety and the fucking uncertainty of knowing, like, letting the fucking public decide whether you're a bad person or a good person, like that. There is no self-defense involved in that strategy.
Austin's saying he loves women. That's what that's what they're hearing on the inside is the reason. And I'll say it's misogyny.
What do
It
you
is.
mean on the inside? What does that mean?
Well, whatever, it doesn't matter, because the point that Austin is making is the point I want to back, which is it is misogyny. I think that's what I think I see here, and I think I see it all over his entire career. And I think he also is, I think he thinks things through exploitively. I think he thinks about how to turn things into his own personal advantage, his own personal gain.
I struggle so much sometimes to talk about this without just like constantly bringing up astrology and mythology because, oh my God, you guys, it's just like he is living out his astrology charts so perfectly. He has a bunch of placements. All of his malefic planets are clustered together with his moon, which is his emotional character. Yeah. So it's basically like he's
also the maternity.
It's like a bombardment of negativity around his emotional self in his Scorpio house. So
there's nothing more feminine other than Venus in astrology.
Yeah.
Than the moon and Venus, the two most feminine planets in the sky.
Uh-huh.
And they both have distinct representations of female in our lives. And the moon represents our mother, typically, while Venus represents would represent our female lover.
Yeah, or just femininity.
Typically, or femininity, yeah.
The thing about Scorpio placements is that mythologically, Hades, right?
Yeah.
Pluto, Hades, that god.
Yeah.
All the myths that you hear about Hades and his behavior in the regular world, right? Not in the underworld where he exists and where he, that's his domain. But he's always surfacing to steal a woman. He is possessive. He's obsessive. He's like thieving women, stealing them away, hiding himself from view. He has a helmet of invisibility. Mercury or Hermes is the only other god that can use Hades' helmet of invisibility. And Justin Baldoni has his Mercury in malefic enclosure. So Saturn and Mars are like bombarding his Mercury too. So he's just, okay.
That's
so
fucking fascinating.
What all this means is that secretiveness, deceit, these are tools of him navigating, strategizing, like doing sneaky shit.
And to be sure, it's tools at his disposal because it does not these placements do not mean this is how they play out. It's just that this kind of weather or these kinds of conditions are present. So it's a path.
It's a lot to figure out. Somebody like him would be an excellent investigator. Like an investigator or somebody who is like working maybe in like addiction counseling or something where your whole job is to delve deep into the dark taboo subjects of people's lives, like trauma, right? I think that's why he's so he's so pleased with engaging with therapy. He does all this deep like breath work and shit, like body work. Justin Baldoni does.
Yeah.
I think that's why, because like those are the good manifestations of these sorts of things. However, when he gets triggered by somebody, when he believes that he's under attack from somebody,
yes,
that is going to stoke all of this. It's all going to manifest as paranoia. He lives this chart. He's just getting yanked around by his fucking planets, and I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Because if he knew about it, if he wasn't in the Baha'i faith, and instead maybe like consulted a Jungian therapist or somebody who's like a psychotherapist who deals with archetypes or whatever, could like advise him about this kind of stuff, he might be able to get a handle on this darker, like this side of him that is so like vengeful, unnecessarily vengeful. I think that's what gets him into all this trouble. And he talks about it in his fucking memoir where he's like, I don't understand why I always feel like I'm under attack and I always have to wear armor and stuff. It's like, bro, because you're fucking paranoid that somebody's attacking you. Like, you should learn how to not be that way anymore. That's exactly what Blake Lively the whole time Blake Lively must have been like, what the fuck did I do?
Well, what's interesting about that,
all I did was fucking help him make a better movie. I fucking brought a Taylor Swift song and made him $1 million. Like,
what's a lot more than $1 million. What's interesting about it is like, well, I forget what I was going to say. Never mind.
Anyway, I shouldn't go on those. I always just feel like it's like mind-numbingly boring when I talk about that stuff, but I just can't get past it. Every time I see his behavior and the way that he talks to other people about this situation, where he is like, "I'm ready to fight," I'm like, "No, bro, those are the planets doing that to you. Like, stop."
There's a dark and a light side to everything, astrologically speaking. Every aspect. So even when the aspects are difficult, when the planets are difficult, there's still a light and a dark side. Meaning that that on the lighter side, it might be dealing with things like, growth or structure or organization or whatever it might be, or even confrontation, or even possibly attacks, but like in a more sensible way. Whereas the dark side might like reveal, overreactions or too quick to
and
react.
look at how it's resulting in his self-destruction. This guy does not have the career he had before he indulged in this weird paranoia and felt like he was under attack and decided to, lash out. Like he fucking ruined his career this way. Nobody's going to insure him. Nobody's going to no studio's going to touch him. No star is ever going to work with him again.
All to protect his fucking ego, because at the end of the day, all he had to do was sacrifice a little bit of that to make all this go away. All he had to do was humble himself, which is weird because and this is why the guy is such a fraud to me, because inside he was different than what was coming on the outside until these moments escaped. And again, there are things you can't get away from, because here's the problem with Justin Baldoni where things really fall apart for me. Justin Baldoni chose to put his friend between Blake Lively's legs, and there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to do that but for a perverted thought. In my full opinion, like, I know this. I feel very strongly about this.
It's true. He had the artistic license to change that scene to make Blake Lively more comfortable. And he chose not to.
And look, it might have been out of spite too, you know what I mean? Because she's already...
At that point, yeah.
At that point, because they're already in this, like, battle with each other or whatever. There's these tensions. She's already filed complaints. And by the way, we talked about, I've said more than once that I think that this started in pre-production, and we know that it actually did, right?
Yes.
We were talking about this today. Do you want to like...
I can't recall what it was.
Elaborate? Well, fuck, neither can I. I was hoping for you to bail me out. Anyway, we know that, and it'll come back to us, but this...
Oh,
this started,
no. I remember.
Well, it was the trainer.
Yeah, it was that she felt fat-shamed by him. Because he went to her personal trainer and asked the personal trainer what Blake Lively's weight was, because he was planning to do a lift. But Justin Baldoni obviously is very comfortable rewriting scenes in the screenplay. And so what was a lift in the book and the screenplay could have just been, rewritten.
Yeah.
But she felt like it was inappropriate for him to ask about her weight from somebody who was a third party and not her directly. Yeah. Like they had been texting back and forth about her losing weight.
Well, we don't have to go too far down.
So it's a little weird.
We don't have to go down the rabbit hole on it too much, but just
that was in pre-production.
That was in pre-production.
She had a complaint about that.
That was a red flag for her already. So it was already problematic getting to the set. And then of course on the set, day one, complaint. But it was, this was definitely...
I think Baldoni missed his calling. I think he should have been a cult leader instead.
I think he should have been...
I think that's probably what he's going to do next. I think
he should have been a director and not a star in this movie, and he'd have been way better off. I think he should have been the star in the movie and not the director in the movie.
It wouldn't have solved any of his problems.
Well, it might have, actually.
As the director or the star, he would have still had a bunch of these complaints. I don't believe that Justin Baldoni is going to thrive in a situation where he has to abide by labor laws. I think he wants to be as loose-lipped as he wants to be. I think he wants to, trauma dump and fucking, treat everybody like his therapist. I think he wants to have really familiar conversations with people that are slightly uncomfortable. Like, I spoke to your dead father. There's just workplaces are not the place for the kind of conduct that he wants to create.
By the way, you just caused my brain to switch rails, because I've long said that I believe that Justin Baldoni wanted to have a Brad and Angelina moment, a Bennifer moment where he fell in love with a big giant superstar, and they each left their respective spouses, and they end up in this big, crazy headline. I
don't think he wanted to be with her. If that's at all true, he wanted to just have an affair. I don't think he was trying to leave his family, have her leave her family. I think he just wanted to have a workplace fling, which is fucking disgusting.
Do you know, after the Pam and Tommy sex tape hit, Pam and Tommy sex tape hit, right? Mm-hmm. And they saw the amount of money, first of all, that Pam and Tommy, I think they turned down $8 million to hand over the rights to Penthouse.
Yeah.
So that money, sex tapes just started popping up, man. They just started popping up. Like when you have Bennifer and you have these, it's just like, we talk about glorifying criminals, and that leads to people copycatting them. Well, that just happens in Hollywood as far as for publicity. Are you kidding me, dude? When you know that your graduation from Justin Baldoni guy who does this to big giant star with Blake Lively on your arm. Big giant upgrade in show business, right? Obviously, it's fucking ridiculous in life, but in show business. So definitely not out of the realm of possibility. And I forget why I was bringing it up there was a moment that he had obviously projected something onto another, or projected something he had been doing onto another, and that's why I was trying to make the comparison, and now I fucked it all up. So whatever.
I'm a little uncomfortable with the just talking about the conspiracy theories about why he was so familiar with her and made her uncomfortable repeatedly, that the horny growl that he emitted right into her face in the dance scene.
Yeah.
It does definitely suggest that maybe he had the hots for her. But I prefer to just stick to what's in writing.
What I'm
the
saying
evidence
is,
that we've seen, just because the other side is doing such a bad job of sticking to the evidence.
What I'm saying is that he has it on display in more than one way. For example, didn't he say something like, "You're not even my type"?
I'm not even attracted to you.
I'm not even attracted to you. Okay, thank you. So if he said that, if that's true, if he said that, that is such a stereotypical response from a guy who gets rejected. That is such.
I know.
That is the absolute.
It really is.
It's the biggest telltale ever.
I've heard it too, and I was like, "Oh, really? So why were you hitting on me?"
That's right. Exactly. You've heard it. Of course you have.
I've heard it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm buying in. I'm buying that Justin Baldoni didn't get what he wanted out of this.
Oh, here it is. Okay, let me read this. What is this? Paragraph 82 in Blake Lively's amended complaint. Okay. Mr. Baldoni did not provide notice or seek consent for any intimacy in advance. Instead, Mr. Baldoni chose to spontaneously improvise the scene while the cameras were rolling. This is the slow dance.
Okay.
During the filming, Mr. Baldoni repeatedly leaned in toward Miss Lively, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and mouth against her neck, putting his thumb to her mouth and flicking her lower lip, caressing her, and telling her how good she smells. Just to add some information, I have been listening to the audiobook of this. Ryle does all of these things, but not in this context. He does exactly these things, but they're in the context of them in their apartment, snuggling,
I think it's another reason why I wanted to play Ryle. I think another reason why I wanted to play Ryle is because he got to stick his fingers in hot woman's mouth.
None of these...
I believe that wholeheartedly.
In the book, none of these things that he's describing that Ryle actually does in the book as the character happen in a fucking sports bar. Okay.
It disgusts me to this minute.
Yeah.
To this minute, it disgusts me. Ooh.
None of this took place... So, continuing. None of this took place while Mr. Baldoni was, in quotes, in character as Ryle, because both the intimacy and dialogue departed from what had been agreed to in the script. Miss Lively was uncomfortable and kept leaning away and repeatedly suggesting and then begging that their characters should just talk. She tried to use levity and creative pleas to deflect the unwanted touching, hoping to get through the scene in a way that maintained a professional boundary without antagonizing Mr. Baldoni.
By the way, one of the more interesting things about this is how that there has been word or rumor that there were many people who were like, what the fuck is this about? Including the publicist, Jennifer Abel. Jennifer Abel saw this, apparently.
She called it creepy.
And called it creepy.
They're also addressing, a lot of people are like, well, Blake Lively did kissing. So they address this in the footnote. The footnote reads, the fact that Miss Lively varied the number of kisses in other scenes in which the kissing was scripted in advance does not justify Mr. Baldoni's improvisations or his attempts to add graphic sex scenes into the film. In other scenes, the kissing was consistent with the plot and it had structure and blocking. And most importantly, it was discussed in advance and was mutually consensual. There can be flexibility in such scenes, but it must be within appropriate boundaries. And the key is advanced planning and consent. Mr. Baldoni acted without planning, without consent, and grossly outside of acceptable boundaries. He made it personal and repeated even after Miss Lively spoke up and became defensive and dismissive when challenged, no matter how politely she mentioned it.
Where's where he said that you're not even my type or whatever.
I'm getting to it.
Thank you.
This is still paragraph 82
Okay.
In Blake Lively's amended complaint.
Okay.
The video footage of the scene, of the dancing scene, shows Miss Lively to be trapped, having to appear as though her character was happy and in love while the cameras were rolling. Miss Lively did not want to film additional takes on the scene, but continued to participate to be a team player and support the production in real time, while simultaneously expressing and holding physical boundaries against Mr. Baldoni's advances. Miss Lively even referred to Mr. Baldoni as a sociopath at one point during the exchange. Notwithstanding Miss Lively's attempts at humor and levity, her words, actions, and body language all evince her lack of consent. When Miss Lively later objected to his behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, "I'm not even attracted to you."
So, I mean, that's the most telltale thing ever for me. Like, listen, I know those guys. I've heard them say it. Like they say it among them. They say it among the dudes. When the conversation happens, fuck her, bro. Just flatter yourself. Don't flatter
yourself.
Scott Bloom says it in Don's Plum. Don't flatter yourself, toots. When what's her name says, Jenny Lewis's character Sarah says, well, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" He was like, "Don't flatter yourself, toots." Like because she's all. Yeah, but that's it's like built in. It's a built-in misogynistic response, but it's also like something that like is so typical from people who have experienced rejection.
Yes, it's like a deflecting defense. I don't know. It's very typical.
Anyway, so I maintain that, I'll just put it this way. If there was anybody involved in this production that wanted to get involved with the other romantically and that had a bad reaction when that didn't happen, it was Baldoni wanting Blake Lively and not the other way around. I think that would be fair to say.
It's sticky. It's a sticky situation.
It's not sticky. It's sticky. I'm saying if then.
No. I'm saying it's a sticky situation for them.
Yeah. You want to hit the chat? There's some stuff going on.
Yeah.
We got a chat rate of 0. You wouldn't know it though. I don't even know what a chat rate is. I just see it as a stat.
Austin said, Ryan Reynolds, Baldoni wants to be Ryan Reynolds. Blake by proxy. He wants Ryan Reynolds' fame. His envy sunk him.
I think there's some truth to that. I think that what he, and especially like what they are in Hollywood, like, and what they were even more so prior to this. They were a big, giant Hollywood royalty couple. I mean, they were a powerhouse. Emily was never going to be a powerhouse. She was going to be a mom,
She might have if she wasn't stuck at home.
I'm just saying, I think Justin Baldoni wanted the powerhouse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about
power couple.
Yeah, the power to be that, And Emily wasn't going to rise from where she was in life to Blake Lively's status, I just think it's a real possibility. I don't care if people think I'm crazy.
Speaking of crazy,
oh,
we saw a documentary this weekend, which was very, very highly recommended. Unknown Number: The High School Catfish.
Yeah, did you guys see this thing?
The high school catfish. Yeah.
We can't spoil nothing about it.
We can't spoil anything
about
it.
Don't look up anything. Just watch it, because if you look it up, you'll get spoiled immediately. And
it's on Netflix.
The documentary loses its power. But it's called, what is it called?
It's called Unknown Number: The High School Catfish. And it's like an investigative...
4 tiny pineapples for me.
4 tiny pineapples.
Yeah.
It's an investigative documentary where this poor girl is getting like cyberbullied, like by text message. And so they have to figure out who...
Like gnarly.
Who in her small community could possibly be responsible. It's very, very good. Speaking of crazy. It's totally crazy.
Yeah, so I give it 4 tiny pineapples.
I watched it because a lot of people on social media were like, I still have not picked my jaw up off the floor.
It's quite a doc. I highly recommend it. What's your tiny pineapples on it?
I would say 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you have a documentary right now that you can think of that you would give 5 tiny pineapples to?
Yes, The Pharmacist.
Yeah, I'd give that one 5 too. Well, I wouldn't give it 5. I'd give it 4.5.
The Pharmacist is a really, really good one. What was another? I really liked.
I'll give you my 5 favorite documentaries of all time.
I can't remember the names of them. Into the Fire. We recently read that one about a missing daughter.
Yeah.
Into the Fire was a really good one. Sons of Sam.
That was a good one.
That changed my mind about the Son of Sam killer. I believe they're contending that there are multiples.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, what was that most recent Zodiac killer one where they think they found the guy?
Oh, I can't remember.
This is
Signs of the Zodiac.
No, I think This is the Zodiac Killer.
This is the Zodiac Killer. That might be it. Well, Hoop Dreams.
Hoop Dreams. Yours are so much more highbrow than mine. I'm just talking about like crime ones.
Capturing the Freedmans.
Capturing the Freedmans.
It'll wreck your brain.
Yeah, that one's
Capturing the Freedmans will wreck your fucking
that
brain.
one and Something's Wrong with Aunt Diane. Those two, I can't. You'll think about them forever. So go in.
You can't get past
knowing
them.
that.
I said Hoop Dreams. I said which one?
Capturing the Freedmans.
Capturing the Freedmans. The Fog of War.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The McNamara. Oh man, that is just a documentary that never leaves you. What's the one with and it's like not like the best filmmaking, but and it's Werner Herzog, and it's the one about the cave painting.
Oh yeah.
That one just I can't remember the title of it, but I think about it like I'll just sit around and I'll be like that documentary will just plow into my consciousness and make me think about it. I love it. It's like a game changer.
Cave of Forgotten Dreams.
Cave of Forgotten Dreams by Werner Herzog.
All of Herzog's documentaries are amazing. The one that he did about texting and driving.
Yeah, that one's.
I constantly think about it.
Yeah, that one gives me a headache to think about.
All of his are really good. Did you see the bear one, Bear Man or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I loved it.
Man Bear.
Man Bear. I loved it.
What's it called?
I can't remember, but I loved it. I got his book here. I haven't read it though. Right here, Werner
Grizzly
Herzog.
Man.
Grizzly Man. Yes,
I feel like that one's going to be too gruesome, so I haven't watched it.
Well, maybe I didn't. Maybe I've got it confused with something else. Doesn't matter. Werner Herzog is a great filmmaker, and Inside the Cave of Dreams. No,
Cave of Forgotten Dreams.
Cave of Forgotten Dreams. Go find it. It's fucking good. That's 4.
Do you ever find that the internal monologue sometimes goes Herzog? Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, you know which one I love is Cutie. What's that one with Cutie? Death of Cutie? The Death of Cutie? Oh shit, that was such a good one. Oh, I love that documentary. Let me see if I can find the name. Oh, I gotta recommend this to you guys because you will love it if I can. It's called The Death of Cutie?
It's not.
No.
Documentary?
Cutie documentary. Let's see what it is called. Cute.
You're just getting results for Death Cab for Cutie band, which is also good.
Oh, well, I have to try to figure this out. It's about this artist, these two couples, like this artist couple who live in mediocrity in New York.
Yeah, no, this Japanese couple, right?
Yes.
Cutie and the Boxer.
Cutie and the Boxer. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, that was really great.
Super great.
2013. I think that was nominated. Anyway, Cutie and the Boxer is really great.
Cutie and the Boxer. Absolutely wonderful.
Oh, you have a good memory for these. I forgot all about those.
Cosmic Urgency's here. I gave Pearl a 4 out of 5. No, 4.5.
Tiny Pineapples?
Tiny Pineapples. I gave Pearl 4.5.
Yeah, Dale loved it.
And by the way, we paid for it. So that's the kind of guy I am.
Oh, we should see Tickled. This one I've heard a lot about.
Is this this is about molesting, right?
I don't know.
I think it's about girls getting molested or something.
Tickled is a thriller mystery documentary.
Oh, okay.
And it is apparently it's twisty.
Twisty.
Yeah, so a lot of people aren't talking about it because they don't want to spoil it.
See, the problem with the only problem, and I'm not saying that this is the case. The documentaries, when I say the best documentaries that I've ever seen, they're not documentaries that I think have been in any way altered in their storytelling to try and like reveal things, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's just there was a certain trend that Michael Moore really got going where they're not really doing
where you can tell the story you want to tell.
Filmmaking than they are doing documentary filmmaking. So when I think about documentaries, like I think about Hoop Dreams, I think about like, yeah, Cutie and the Boxcar.
Cutie and the Boxer. He's a boxer. She's a cutie.
All right, because he punch paints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they both painters? Oh, it was so great.
Yeah, it was really great.
I just remember loving it.
Oh, Something's Wrong with Aunt Diane was also just so devastating, said Austin. That one, dude, it stays with you. I have theories about that, but you know, it's interesting. I tend to not want to watch like the crime documentaries where they're unsolved cases, because you know the whole appeal of them is seeking seeking justice, you know? So if there are unsolved mysteries or something and the person never got justice, that's kind of like not entertaining. That's just sad. And it becomes just like grief porn. You know, the family never gets what they deserve. So there's something.
Zachary is a fucking heartbreaking.
Dear Zachary,
oh my God.
But there's something wrong with Aunt Diane is kind of like that because nobody actually knows what happened. But you could have a theory.
What's wrong with Aunt Diane?
There's something wrong with Aunt Diane.
Oh, that thing is just fucking that was.
They know what happened. They don't know why it happened.
Biggest mind fucking.
I know.
Oh my God.
Dear Zachary is another one.
That one just.
Bring your tissues.
I mean, like to have a friend like that. Mm-hmm. Like that's all. The thing that was wild about that for me was
Dear Zachary.
Yeah, was to have a friend like that. You know, I have friend issues, like major friend issues.
Yeah, of course, dude. You were fucking betrayed
by so many.
By your closest
just
friends.
All of them. God damn it. And
you wrote a book about it, didn't you?
I wrote a book about it. It's true. Too Real a Hollywood Memoir. Do you like that new commercial that's out where the guy's screaming metal?
Yeah, sure. I don't like any of the commercials, to be honest.
No, you do. You do. I see you there liking them. I look over and you get this like grin. I'm like, oh, what's that?
Wait, how's it go? How do I what? That's true. You kind of get like a passive grin on your face when you're just like watching a funny video.
That was what I do when I would hand you scenes to read. I would just look for that grin. I'd be like, is the grin coming?
Just watch me.
Because like if you're like this, I'm like, oh fuck, this is gonna be bad. But if you got the grin, you're like, I'm like, oh fuck, this is gonna be all right. This is gonna be okay. The notes will be coming, but they're not going to hurt me.
But then that one Toby scene, like I literally would be like crawling up my pillow.
Yeah, if I saw you like repulsed, I would also be pleased.
So
like,
uncomfortable.
Hey, watch, this is the scene that happens in Patricia Arquette's house. Can you just read it? And you did, and you'd just be like.
I know, it was horrible.
Your face was contorted. Are RD and I still friends? Asked Lisa. Huh. I would say that we are. I just spoke to him recently after his father passed. We are not the friends we used to be, and we'll never be the friends we used to be. Yeah, we're friends. We're just broken friends. Mm. I guess they're all broken friends.
Estranged?
I don't know if it's estrangement, but it could be. Mm. Do you know what? I don't care anymore. Do you know? I don't care anymore about any. You know, I was like walking on eggshells with my story. I don't care anymore. I'm telling the truth. And I've always been telling the truth. I never fucked over anybody. Not one of them. I had my entire life destroyed and I literally harmed absolutely fucking nobody. And I never had any intention to harm anybody. I had nothing but the best intentions. And I worked my ass off for them and for me. I loved them. I protected them whenever I could. I was a good friend to every single one of those human beings. And that they can afford to turn their back on the kind of friendship that I brought to them. Hey man, all the power to you. But I gave them the real stuff, dude. You know? Loyal, great friendship. Every single one of them. And they all shat upon it. Hey man, some people are just so rich, you know what I mean? They can just throw their gold into the sewer. Go ahead. But I don't have anything to be ashamed about in my life or my actions. I think their actions are shameful. And it took a long time, you know, because I felt like the victim, but now I don't feel like the victim. I feel different. I feel a certain amount of empowerment over understanding that it's, you know, it's like a weird, like, you know, it's their loss. But in this case, it really truly is their loss. Like, they just threw away a great friendship. They also destroyed like a great creative opportunity for all of them, including fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, I'm a good writer. I'm an even better producer.
That you were going to write specifically for them. And ever since they broke up with you, they haven't had opportunities where anybody has done that for them. I just think that says a lot about what they lost.
Whatever it was 7-9 years for Entourage to happen for Kevin Connolly. His career was in mud. It was in fucking mud for 7 to 9 years. Don's Plum would have made him. And
you're saying he would have been in every film you ever did?
Every single movie we ever did. He would have had a few of them written for him.
Yeah.
And the same with Scott Bloom. Did you see what Lisa said about Scott Bloom?
Yeah. You want to see it?
Scott Bloom is so handsome in Don's Plum, but like one of the most handsome men I've ever seen. I can't really explain it. This is the loss that we're talking about. Like he
would have had a film
has
career.
No idea what he fucking shat on. But like, this is always the phenomenon of it all is like, you completely destroy the work of your own work. He destroyed his own work, man, for nothing, for literally fucking nothing. How they don't feel so stupid right now over all this. The fact that this book exists is such a fucking indictment of their fucking stupidity. It's an indictment of their lack of intelligence, emotional intelligence, their lack of emotional intelligence, that they couldn't put together what this whole thing really was, that they couldn't make sense of it even just a few years after. Okay, have your stupidity, get whirled up in the fucking, the shitstorm of fame and fortune. Okay? Go through all that.
What did it get for them?
But at some point, like, when you shake the little, what do they call it? Snow domes or whatever. Like it settles at the bottom. And I really thought that one day it was going to settle at the bottom. This was all going to settle. And they'd look and they'd be like, oh, they just keep picking it up and shaking it again. These fucking idiots. As opposed to just solving their problems. Well, now this exists. And the thing about this existing is that it's always going to exist. So it doesn't matter that it doesn't hit today. And I knew this when I wrote it. I was like, well, if Leo wins and he's able to hold back the press, and he's completely shut down all the press and coverage on my book. I get no help. None. I am screaming from rooftops. That's all I got. So he succeeds for now. But when I die and when he dies, he won't. This will be read. And I know it will be read. You know why? Because it's good enough. And it's fucking, it's just so juicy. It literally drips. Can you see it? It's dripping. The fucking juice is dripping out of it.
What did I bookmark for you there? That's his quote. That's his quote where he calls you a tree-hugging piece of shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where Leonardo DiCaprio, the environmentalist, calls you a Canadian tree-hugging piece of shit.
I can't believe he had contempt for me over the fact that I loved a rainforest.
Yeah.
And that I was proud of being a part of preventing it from being logged.
Unbelievable piece of shit.
That's a real fucking mud-in-the-face situation,
type of behavior. Yep. Irredeemable douchebags. And that's my opinion for entertainment purposes only.
It's look, my situation is extremely weird. It is the most weird situation. It's a situation I still can't even get over because I sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'll look at you and I'll be like, why? Why did every single person find it so easy to just hate on me and turn on me when I did literally nothing wrong? They in their own testimony, they can't. I'm telling them about somebody else saying something that got them so outrageously crazy about everything.
I just know that there are not very many people in the world who are like as loyal and like safe and helpful and consistent as you. And I don't know why people would want to have less of those types of people.
I don't know. You know what? I'm not a perfect person.
As soon as I got to know you, like I nailed it down. I like moved in with you. I was like, this person's great.
Well, because I'm an imperfect person, and I acknowledge it. I embrace it. I'm cool with it. I have no problem with my imperfections. I'm working toward becoming better at everything that I am and do. And I'm also, but my main focus and why I'm like, fuck all these people is it doesn't matter where I go, I elevate. I come into Athens, Georgia. They got nothing going on in their local film market. And they got a bunch of people meeting on Tuesdays talking about what they want to do, but actually nobody doing anything. And then I suddenly just make myself available. As a producer, I'm like, I make myself available to you guys, essentially. Then all of a sudden I have all these writers bringing projects to me, and I'm developing them all. And Small Group is born out of that. And ever since I came to town, they spent over a decade with their film organization, trying to attract film, trying to get something going in this town. I come here, I make $1 million movie. It goes and it wins the biggest film festival in the faith-based market in Florida. And they open up a fucking mini studio in fucking Athens, Georgia, where now it's thriving in low-budget productions. And that all comes on the heels of Small Group. And everywhere I go, I just elevate. And the reason is because it's not because I'm special or it's because I actually care about the people around me and I want to elevate the people around me. I want to be helpful. And I only offer myself up when I know I can be. That's it. If I ever offer you help, it's because what I'm bringing is probably going to be helpful. Almost always. It's not always, I'm like I said, I'm a flawed guy.
But when you think about so today we talked about a bunch of lawsuits that Justin Baldoni was involved in before Blake Lively sued him. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And we hear these stories all the time about people screwing each other over in Hollywood.
Yeah.
they're like stealing IP and they're stealing like, they're like
Wives. Husbands.
And like poaching each other's like business agreements, like whatever. I don't know. A lot of stuff. So much scandal.
You stole my credit.
And there's one thing that you've never done in your life. And I just feel like it's such a fucking loss that these people lost somebody in Hollywood that never is trying to fucking pull one over on anybody else.
No.
You're never trying to fucking hurt somebody in order to get ahead. There's no competitive streak in you that would ever justify harming anybody or making anybody even slightly uncomfortable. Like, I don't understand why, I mean...
I'm a highly competitive person, but I'm competitive with myself. You know this, I play darts alone for hours, always just trying to beat myself the very next, like I literally play games against myself, trying to beat myself, trying to beat my best game.
I was just saying in an industry where everybody is just, it's like dog eat dog, right?
Yeah.
And that's the culture.
It's a great AC/DC tune.
I feel like people should have valued you more because you're not going to harm anybody.
No,
I don't know.
I'm just going to help people. That's the weirdest part. And I just think, so anyway, we digress a little bit, but I was just taking strength in my position because it had been many decades that I walked around with a slouched back and a lot of like low self-esteem. I'd felt like the weight of these assholes who have mistreated me for all this time and who have misrepresented me to the world. And now I get to represent myself. And a part of the reason why this channel has been formed is because, and I can't wait till I can actually get the content out that we're creating through these lives and working with all these great people who are helping build this great, awesome fucking community, is because I try to take my story out through people like Andy Signor, and then I just find myself in that now, getting in that vice where people are distorting the truth or like, minimizing it or marginalizing it or wanting to create some sort of objective view on it, even if it means introducing things that don't even make fucking sense. Do you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, just dealing with people and situations where the story gets convoluted or twisted through other channels. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to build my own community. Enough of this. I'm done.
Here we are.
It's a wrap. We got 13 people here. We're rocking this shit.
We're rocking this shit.
Hey, we are rocking this shit. You know why? Because I think that, like, and I've said this earlier, I'm going to say it one more time because it's definitely worth repeating. We have such an amazing crowd of people. Like Cosmic Urgency dropped in, and this guy has seriously contributed to the quality of this channel. And
Definitely.
Not just like what we're doing, and in terms of like Pearl, I would have never watched. Maybe I shouldn't say I would have never watched it. I have no idea how I would have come across that movie because not in a genre that I really pursue. So it would have been through you. And you're the kind of person who might like, it's not true the kind of person, but there's a possibility you would pass over this one because it might not have like appealed to you the way that some others do, for example. So it's just entirely possible that movie escapes me and here it shows up and it actually turns into something that I think is reasonably enjoyable content because I think recommending movies is a fun thing to hear and do. Don't you? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I
wanted to say more about Pearl.
Yeah. Well, say more.
I thought it was really interesting. Like, I thought that they really succeeded in making a movie about a protagonist who is bad, like wrong, like
what do you mean by
crazy, dangerous,
right?
Bad person.
By protagonist meaning like you have
like the protagonist.
Yeah.
Pearl.
Yes.
Not to spoil anything. She's
no good.
She's not a hero.
No.
She's extremely fucked up.
She's the anti-hero.
Yeah, and I just feel like I always find that you hear about how cool it would be if a book or a movie succeeded at making the protagonist the villain, like American Psycho did that.
Yeah.
Extremely well.
Yes.
It's like really hard to execute. They did that really wonderfully with this.
Sopranos was the big breakthrough.
Right. Because you're supposed to, you have to. It's like it has to be like a killer with heart. Like you have to align with them on some things, but also be like, holy shit, that person's dangerous and crazy. On the other hand,
it's the basis of Save the Cat, right?
Yeah, right. But
it's the foundation of Save the Cat, right? Like it literally happens in Sopranos with the ducks in the pond. At the beginning, the very first episode.
No, I get it, but Pearl doesn't have that at all, and they succeed. And I just feel like that's a really big achievement. I feel like it's really difficult to design a movie where your audience is like, oh, I get it. Like I know all about that character. I can align with that character in some ways, but obviously they're like super not not the hero you want to root for, you know?
It's so weird because he does.
I wish I could be more specific, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
The writer
because it's
does
entertaining.
use the same tactic as Save the Cat with Pearl. I can't explain beyond because I don't want to spoil, but I'll say this: that what led to the feeding of the alligator for the very first time. Do you remember that scene? Don't get into the details.
It's in the very beginning of the movie. So,
right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's so weird because like before that, she kind of has a couple of Save the Cats.
Because she's feeding farm animals.
With her farm animals. So there's this, she's like and then, then it turns into this, weird shit that ends up becoming a different form of Save the Cat, which is like this. Anyway, the writers used it. They used the formula.
Yeah.
Or the tactic or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to phrase it, but I guess it's the tool. They used the tool of Save the Cat.
Is it like a trope? I don't know either. Anyway, I just thought that was really well done, and I that's like that's hard to execute well. So I appreciated it.
Lisa's got a lot to say about Leo. Like Leo is cute. Scott Bloom looks like he's made by AI. Well, yeah. Let me tell you something. I had a straight man crush on Scott Bloom. Like, I'm a straight man. It was, it wasn't romantic, but I thought he was an incredibly, like, he had that mysterious sort of enigmatic beauty. He had those eyes that were just like, they just stopped you.
I cannot believe he let his friends destroy his work.
He had a great voice.
Because he would have, I don't know, man. I just feel like there was a place for him in Hollywood and that was missing. That like he was missing. Like he could have fucking skyrocketed, bro. To the top,
at least he could have been skyrocketed into, like McDreamy type roles and those,
yeah, right.
Like
and he would have been able to
his bout on ER. He would have been like a George Clooney type in a minute, in terms of like him and ER and so on and so forth. So
he would have had a career for sure.
For sure, dude. And people just didn't get to see it. And if Don's Plum had become a little cult hit, like
because that's
kids, it would have been just the platform he needed.
Because what Lisa's saying is how I think everybody would have believed about Don's Plum if it was if it was released in the U.S. I definitely did. When I first saw that movie, I was like, who is this guy? And he should be in everything.
Yeah. No, it was why he had, such a strong feature in the beginning of the film because of how strong I felt his presence was at the table. So I wrote that scene between him and Jenny Lewis. And I mean, I of all the rewrites, I think I put by far the most work into that scene. I worked so hard on that to try and really bring that performance that was in the main body of the movie that we'd already shot and cut. And that was the coolest thing, guys. I got to make Don's Plum and then write retroactively to get into it. And that was just like so cool. And just being able to do that was super thrilling. It was like, wow, I get to like explain improvisational dialogue,
Yeah. I love how you wrote about that in your book.
Because she says at one point, does Jenny Lewis, as Sarah, she says that she doesn't want him to talk about the night, or that's not what happens. They're sitting at the table and he goes to say something and she shushes him. She's like, no, don't. And he's like, what? He's like, no. And that's all she did in the improv. In the movie, it's in the cut. And then I took that moment and wrote that whole scene based on that moment. Because I loved that moment so much because there was no right. I loved them so much because they gave it to me with no writing. She threw that in there and created a subtextual moment all on her own.
That's what the sequel should be. It should just be them.
Those two. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to get Meadow in there, bro. She was badass, dude. I thought Meadow was a fucking kick-ass character.
That's a different sequel. That's a bunch of spin-offs. That's what you should do. Lisa has an interesting comment.
This is interesting. Cosmic Urgency says, do you think that Scott was better looking than Brian? Do you know Brian Bloom? Do you know who he is?
I've seen pictures. They kind of look the same to me.
He's a stunning, good-looking man. I mean, so stunning. Mm-hmm. No, I thought Brian was better looking.
Hey, Dale.
Yeah.
Can I share Lisa's comment with you?
Yes.
Okay. Although, unless his whole persona is a lie, if Leo is the dude he seems to be in interviews, he probably knows he's done wrong. But if he brings light to it, he's scared it would destroy his career. but that would weigh on a person. So I think unless he's a psychopath, which I don't think he is, he'll make amends at some point, or at least try to.
Well, it'd be a shame if it's after I die.
If he brings light to it, he's scared it would destroy his career. Do you think that if he...
No, I think it's the same as Justin Baldoni in that I keep being criticized. I keep being critical of Justin not taking care of the problems, killing the monsters when they're little. And this is what he constantly did with the situation. He could, here's the easiest solution that he could have fucking got rid of this movie for Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio could have got rid of Don's Plum for a couple $100,000. He could have turned to what's his face, to David Stutman, and he could have just said, "I'll give you $200,000 for the movie right now. I'll write you a check."
And he would have taken
He had fucking millions of dollars sitting in the bank. He had millions of dollars coming to him with Titanic. He could have just wrote that motherfucker a check, said, "I'll give you $200,000," and owned that movie, and then did whatever he wanted with it, and nobody had to die. Proverbially, right? Nobody had to get hurt. Beyond that,
This is the most psycho shit, though. It's like,
and it wouldn't even have. Actually, I say 200,000. He could have got it for $100,000.
even though they prevailed at like making your movie unsellable, right? Because they badmouthed you, and all the agents and all the representatives were like, "Sorry, we can't touch this thing."
Yeah.
Why did they continue to go and like poach each one of your the deals that you had in Hollywood? Like that they would go around and try and fuck up your reputation with people you were going to work with next is really the most
Disturbing.
you cannot. There's no explanation for that.
It was weird that they would take
the
took
most
away,
unjustifiable choice
to take everything away. Literally, all my
to ruin
friends,
your future career.
Yes.
Not just it wasn't about the movie.
Nope.
It was about punishing
Destroying
you guys.
me for nothing.
Why?
No, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't know. I didn't do anything to anybody. I made a movie. That's all I did. I made a movie. And I made the movie we agreed to make. And I showed it to Leo and he approved it. And I showed it to his agents and they approved it. And then we went out and tried to sell it. And we weren't perfect along the way, but we were just making a movie. That's all we were doing.
And you succeeded.
And we succeeded at it. And we never ever, did a single thing to betray anyone or any deal or none of that. None of that happened. Everything was above the board all the time. 100% above board. I cannot explain, except the way I did in the book. Is the best I could do to explain it. I did so in the book. You should buy it. It only cost $100 per copy. But I have it on sale for 75% off. Because it's thick. It's really thick. So you see how thick it is, guys? But I guess when people see a thick book, especially nowadays, people are like, "Oh fuck, I can't read a thick book. You don't understand my life," they say. Like, I got student loans. I got shit to do.
But this is different.
This book reads like it's half the size it is.
Do you want to just open it up so people can see how light it is?
It's this thick. But then
But it's like a real page turner.
Look inside of it. It's just dialogue. It's just Dale being mouthy.
Yep. Yeah, that reads real fast.
You see, if I go slow, maybe you could read it. Try. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I tell you that. Right
okay,
now.
the last thing that I want to share with you is from the chat. We were talking about...
Yes, Brian was in the stuff. You remember I pointed him out. It's hard not to miss him because he looks just like... He plays the brother.
He's the other, the brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really great.
He was good in it too, I thought.
Foz recommended an episode of the podcast Gavel Gavel.
I'm mad at that guy. He used my content. Didn't use my name. Even went as far as to say, "Yeah, he wrote some book, blah blah blah." I'm kind of mad at that guy.
Okay, the last thing that I want to share with you.
Yeah.
Foz said, "What's everyone's favorite film?" Okay. And Damon Child 1977 had some great answers.
Okay, well, let's hear it. 1977, huh?
Tarsem sings The Fall.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I showed it to you. It's the same guy that did The Cell. He goes by Tarsem.
Oh.
Anyway, The Fall is with Lee Pace.
I don't know who that is.
And it's like this whole like dream world.
Is he from the Salsa family?
No.
Salsa?
It's a really, really beautiful movie. It's one of those movies where like every single frame is a painting type thing.
Oh.
But it's told like, so the guy, it's told in like two worlds. So he in his actual world is injured he has like a war injury or something. It's a period piece. And then he befriends a little girl and they start talking about a fairy tale. And so he is cast in the fairy tale side of it, where it's like this really fantastical land that he's in. And everything is just incredible. No special effects. It's all practical. But they'll do those things where like they'll create a whole landscape that's like a single image. Have you ever seen those?
Yes.
Like Dali used to do that a lot, right? Where he'd like assemble a bunch of things in a painting and it makes like a skull or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So he did that, but it was all practical. Like none of it is special effects. It's so fucking cool. There's more.
Okay. Good.
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Okay.
Do you know that?
Nope.
Me neither.
Never heard of it.
Akira Kurosawa's Ran.
I may have seen it because I think I've seen all of Kurosawa, but I don't remember it.
I'm screenshotting this. We're going to watch these. Tenet.
I did see Tenet.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
The Lives of Others.
Oh,
I don't know that one.
I don't know.
Thank you, Damon Child. We're going to check these out.
You're definitely going to check them out. Let me get to these. Those are awesome recommendations. They sound awesome. And yeah, I'll definitely fucking jump in. We love these. You give us recommendations. We'll come back with our basic reviews, our spoiler-free reviews. We'll do our best to be spoiler-free. I guess we're not perfect in that regard, but I'll do my best. Robin Wright is the latest. And dude, there's a disturbing trend of rich people leaving the fuck, like getting out of America, dude. Like so many stars are moving abroad. It must be so, and it's so funny because Robin Wright's like, she's like, basically called, America a shit show, and she's living in the UK, and she's like, it's such a breath of fresh air. And I'm sure it is because it's a fucking toxic place being around this. I spent the entire weekend where all of social media is in a whirlwind over Donald Trump dying, possibly dying, people planning fucking personal parades and whatever else. And it's just really super toxic, Yeah. But it is weird because it's also like all these like really super rich people be like, yeah, man, I got the fuck out of Dodge. And it's just like, well, that's nice. Yeah, that's that whole privilege we were talking about. That really sucks. While the rich people get to just fucking bolt, fuck this whole thing up and leave. And we're standing here like holding the bag. Fuckers. Anyway, Robin Wright living her best life. I just found it was interesting that she was in the headlines after watching such an early
After we just saw her?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good for her. I think
but there's so many people. Like, keep your eye out. Just like start counting. They're all leaving, dude.
Yes.
And I just think that's a terrible sign.
Oh, of course it is.
Like when you're like, like when a bunch of like bugs suddenly leave in the middle, you're like walking. I was like, oh fuck, that can't be good.
No, I know when you're like walking through the forest and then all of a sudden the birds get quiet.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, exactly. For no reason, everything's good.
I am in danger.
Fucking something bad is about to happen. Yeah, it's like one of those moments where all like they're all flocking, fucking living abroad while leaving
dude,
us.
it's not good. The future forecast is not ideal for the United States of America. And I think that there's nothing that can be done except for what they're doing if they're capable, or what we're doing because we're not.
In another example of how we can decide how shit goes, Snoop Dogg opens his stupid mouth. It's calling him his mouth stupid, not him. And he says the most ridiculous thing, which is that he's scared to take his kids to Disney pictures because
there's gay representation.
Because there was gay representation. There was a lesbian couple.
Should we call the ambulance for him?
Well, it's worse than that, right? Because it's like because it was so great because I don't know who it was that you pointed out. But they were like, yo, like fucking, I watched like Sleeping Beauty. I ain't poisoned a woman with an apple yet.
That was Marlon Wayans.
And Marlon Wayans went off.
Who called out how absolutely stupid that idea is. He was like, we have been seeing Disney movies ever since we were children that have the worst villains doing the most villainous shit, and none of us turned out that way.
Killing people. It is just stealing from people.
You're just a fucking homophobe. And it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. So anyway, Snoop Dogg says that he said, my bad. Which is that that's sincere when they say my bad.
Yeah, well,
it's a very sincere thing for for.
It's not that easy though. He's got to unpack that, dude. Like that's something that's deep. Like he has to fucking go digging around and figure out where the root is.
For comments about the gay couple in Pixar's Lightyear, he says, "Teach me how to learn." I'm like, brother, you're in your 50s. I thought he was much older, by the way. I'm older than fucking Snoop Dogg.
Well, he looks older too.
He does.
I think he's always looked weird. A little bit older because he's so skinny.
He was like, gotta be 60 at least. And that dude is fucking 2 years younger than me. Almost 3. Snoop Dogg says, my bad for comments about gay couple in Pixar's Lightyear.
I mean, good
He
for
says,
him, but
teach me how to learn.
Yeah, good. I hope he does.
And I'm not suggesting that we're not too old to learn, but by any means, I'm learning every minute of my life. And I'm glad that he wants to as well. But really the example there is, for me, is this is the power that we have. We can, and this is the kind of power that I was hoping one day I could harness and straighten Leo out. Because that's all he needs to be is straightened out. You know? Leo just needs to fucking learn that he's not the power he thinks he is. That his position in life is a gift given to him by us. By those of us who watch and consume the product that makes him what he is today.
Or that he was the power that he thought that he was, but that he misused it. And he shouldn't let that go unanswered. Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing is, like, if you're a powerful person and you've discovered that you've done something wrong, you are uniquely qualified, right, by position of your power to make that thing right. There's nothing that is outside the realm of his capability to change and fix what he did for you. He will never be able to fix it because the damage is too great, right? Like, you can't go back in time, you know, and have that movie come out in 1997 when it was supposed to at the time, you know, with all the other 1997 movies that it belonged with. Yeah. But he could do something. He could do something. Right. He could do something to fix it. He could fix his reputation too.
Yes, he could.
You know?
I think this might be my last one. Wendy McLennan Covey. Do you know who that is?
I've never heard that name.
She's somebody famous, blonde woman, pretty. She said that she was fired from a movie for not being pretty enough. She said, I was put on a plane crying. And this is the part of Hollywood. I wrote about it in my book. This is the part of Hollywood that is unfortunately terribly necessary. Do you know what I mean? And the part about it I wrote about it in my book, for those of you who read, you know, it's the conversation where we're going through the headshots. And then RD goes on a little tirade about the fact that, you know, women or their representatives are submitting them for roles that are asking for a very specific kind of beauty.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's how it works, right? Like in Hollywood.
That's true. Yeah, you have to know your type. It's true. Like
you got to know your fucking type. And if you're going to try to go against type, which is a strategy in Hollywood that does work. In fact, when we did Small Group, I produced that movie, as some of you probably know. Angela was the casting director, and we decided that we had a main role it was a male role, and a woman submitted for it. Do you remember?
Yes, but she wasn't like outside.
She got a callback.
That she wasn't outside of the age. She wasn't outside of the type.
She was the gender. She was a totally different gender.
That was really cool that she did that. But like, for instance, this is a really good example. So like, I'm rereading The Long Walk right now because I'm super super pumped that the movie's coming out, and the lead character, his name's Ray Garrity, and he gets dropped off by his mother, and his mother is described as like just very ugly description. Like, she's not an ugly person. She's a sweet person. But she's like, you know...
Physically...
The description is basically to show what their status in life is, you know?
Right. So
and then I was like, wow, well, that
underclassed.
Yeah. That she's like skinny, and she's also really like she's basically grieving, right? Because she's so stressed out about the long walk, and so you know, she looks like shit too. And so I was like, well, that's so fucked up because like they had to cast that role, they had to find somebody who like fits this description, you know. And anyway, there's roles like that all the time. Like there's a bunch of people who will work in horror movies where they specifically play the role of like the creepy, scary person.
Well, where I was going with this, there are. Where I was going with this was just like my point to this, which is that like it's just really easy to create these sensational headlines, and she, like, the first thing, the film in question went nowhere by quote. And she can have her grudge against it because,
that's really fucking weak sauce to do that.
Probably doesn't feel good to not get the part because you're not pretty enough. But if you didn't meet the requirement, the pretty requirements, and that's my point is like when you actually read some of the descriptions that are, you know, describing the kind of beauty that the director or the writer wants.
Yeah, like, does the screenplay say that she's drop dead gorgeous? Well, then you have to cast somebody who's drop dead gorgeous, like,
right.
You know, it's
or
just
like
the type.
Or you know, specific like attributes, you know, that they might be looking for.
One of my biggest criticisms of like current movies and television shows is that everybody's entirely too good looking. There aren't a lot of people who are like normal.
Yeah.
Like that look like normal people who are in your fucking neighborhood, you know? Like it's like everybody's really, really like those, especially those like cop shows. the police procedural shows, like everybody's way too good looking to be like, you know, carrying around badges and guns. Like they're not normal looking people.
Yeah, of course. It happens with the fucking, of course.
But sometimes like the role will be described for us for a reason. Like if the person is supposed to be noticed everywhere they go, then they have to look unique, you know?
But it doesn't matter, because even if it's not for a reason beyond what the writer just put, it doesn't matter. If you submit for the fucking role and you don't meet the description of the role, then you're going against type.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you're going against type, you have to be prepared
for rejection.
And by the way, that can include, like, for example, if they have a specific kind of beauty. It's interesting because you could say like, hey, it's a redhead, and then you're submitting a blonde because a blonde can dye her hair red.
They had that conversation when they were casting Lily Bloom.
I'm bringing that up for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
So you can have that situation, but it's a disadvantage going into the audition blonde still, right?
Yep.
You show up natural red. You already got their attention. Now you just got to, you know, can you hit the part, right? Can you play the character? And the other thing about beauty is that beauty goes beyond what we're seeing also, because writers and directors might have a very specific kind of personality or vibe, feeling, mood coming off of the kind of beauty they want. Take Robin Wright in State of Grace, and then try to put like Meg Ryan in that role.
No, it's true. That's such a good example because Meg Ryan is so cute.
They're both blondes.
I know.
They're both beautiful.
I know.
But if you put those two people in that same role, that movie is broken. And also Meg Ryan isn't pretty enough, in my opinion.
Because, well, no, it's,
I mean,
a
director could say she isn't pretty enough compared to like the kind of pretty that they needed for that role, which was this idea, by the way, that she had like blossomed into this absolutely. You remember, if you hear Gary Oldman setting her up before he runs into her again. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I don't know.
No, it's cool. It's just that Meg Ryan. It's a great example because Meg Ryan is so cute. She's adorable. She plays that type, you know.
Yes.
Where like she can be really smart and savvy, of course, but she's always gonna. She's just like petite.
And ridiculously beautiful. I mean,
of course.
Not a single dude who wasn't attracted to
Robin Wright. She is like strong and like you know, has been through some shit.
Yeah.
It's like she plays that role perfect.
Now, I'm sure when they said that she wasn't pretty enough, I'm sure they were saying she wasn't pretty enough because they didn't think she met the physical requirements or whatever. But I'm saying there's more depth to it because that pretty, like this has happened to me in my own personal life where I was like, there was this girl I was pursuing who I thought was the most beautiful thing in the world. And then she started talking to me and it was not good. Like it just didn't, like everything changed. The manner of her speech, the voice, like it all was just not like what I'd hoped for from the physical package that I was presented with.
That is really funny. I remember when I worked at the coffee shop, I caught myself staring at this woman because she was a lawyer and she was having a lawyer discussion, like very formal legal discussion on her telephone while she was getting her coffee. But she had like a thick Valley Girl accent. And the dichotomy of the two that she was like, obviously a professional, super smart person with like this super ditzy accent. I just couldn't, with the vocal fry and everything. I was like, wow. I had to be like, Angela, you're staring.
We've gone way over, but that one was like a really interesting one for me, just because it triggered the whole question. I'm sure Wendy McLennan Covey did not deserve to be, you know, treated unfairly, or they also. Here's the different thing. Like people don't understand. Another thing that people might not understand about this process is. When you call for feedback, that's what happens. Like agents call for feedback. So they're like, hey, like what the fuck?
So they told her she's not pretty enough?
Yeah. And when they call for feedback, managers want real feedback.
Yes. Right.
They don't want bullshit. They want like, why did my client get put on a plane?
Yeah.
You know why? She wasn't fucking pretty enough. That's why. So it's a hard truth. It's not like some fucking mean thing that people do.
No, of course not.
It's a hard truth.
Listen, I think that what you're describing is somebody who puts too much value on pretty. Like I don't know why this person. Why does this person specifically want pretty roles? I remember when I was casting for you, it ended up not working out, but I was casting for specifically. You had written a part for a guy who was extremely annoying. He was supposed to be a customer at a diner.
Yes.
And he was just going to annoy the waitstaff. And he was a regular and he came in all the time. But like, you know, the waitstaff was like, oh my God, here he is again. So just like looking at the guy, I wanted to be annoyed. So we saw a bunch of actors who were submitting for the role. And I literally just like had to be like, which one of these guys is like irking me just from looking at him?
Yeah.
There are roles for people who are unique looking or who
Of course there are. John C. Reilly.
Or play, you know, like, Gary Oldman has played like absolutely
character actor.
Like when he's playing young Dracula, he's a fucking smoke show. But then he'll also play these other characters where he just looks like a complete,
Yeah, there's so many great, like
gross.
Vincent Pruitt, you know, the guy from Jacob's Ladder. He's Heavy. He was in Heavy. The guy with the eyes that go.
Oh yeah,
Taylor Pruitt.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
But was serious character actor. Right?
Yeah.
Woody Allen.
So I don't know why she thinks that not being pretty is the end of her road.
Well, it wasn't. That's not what happened. She was just talking about the humiliation of it. She's talking
humiliation
about
of not being called pretty?
She's talking, of being fired for not being pretty, of being told to get on a plane. Look, I don't have enough details. I just know that it's a retrospective thing because now she's like, look at me now, and she's all pretty and she's successful or whatever, you know.
Oh, so it drove her to succeed, I guess. That's her.
Maybe, or just
this is her Phoenix from the Flame
chips
story.
That you get on your shoulder. I have chips all over my shoulder. I have like Doritos on this side. I got Lay's on this side. I got nothing but chips on my shoulder.
I just think it's sad that somebody has a chip on their shoulder about how they look when they're specifically pursuing acting, which is like you're just going to be beaten down all the time if you're that much affected by people's judgments of you. Do you know what I mean? This is one of the reasons why I didn't succeed in doing anything. Like I was trying to model for 2 years and I was just getting constant criticism because I'm not a good fit for modeling, you know? And I was just like,
you were plenty beautiful. So
no, but I was just like, I was never going to fit into what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And the thing is you have to realize is it's not about you. It's about them. Like it didn't diminish my perspective of myself. I just wasn't the fit for what they were looking for. And I don't know why this person doesn't see it that way. Why she took on that criticism instead of recognizing that there's a fit they're looking for and she's not it. And so that's their thing. It's not her thing.
Yeah.
But she took it on. And I just feel like that's super sad. And it's self-destructive because that's a choice she made. She didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Cosmic Energy is asking who else left besides Rosie O'Donnell. Well, obviously Robin Wright left. Ellen DeGeneres left. There's
Angelina Jolie left.
Angelina Jolie.
I think so.
A bunch of people bolted to Mexico.
Beyonce left.
Beyonce left. People are just fucking leaving, bro. And then, besides, like, I guarantee you're going to hear about Leo fucking parking it in fucking Italy eventually.
Parking his yacht.
Parking his yacht after he, like, cuts down all the trees. It's like, oh, this is a nice piece of land. But there's too many trees.
You know what? We need a dock right here. Why don't we just raise all those trees and turn them into
But you know what? We're
logs.
not going to just make any dock. We're going to make a dock out of the trees that we cut down. That's responsible. I'm an environmentalist. All right, I'm just being mean because fuck that guy. I kind of want some popcorn. Is it too late?
No.
You guys are the fucking very best people in the world. Hanging out with you is my joy. And I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night. Maybe there'll be some juicy news, but if not, we'll find something to dig into, won't we?
Oh my God, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday, September 3rd. Shit is going down, dude. Prepare yourself. I don't even know what it is.
We don't know what it is.
Everybody's talking about Wednesday.
All of the astrologers.
But it's not just astrologers. It's like just people are coming up with shit. Like Wednesday, the 3rd might be one of the craziest days ever.
Everybody's
if it's a big nothing burger,
buckle up.
that'll be interesting in and of itself because there's a lot of anticipation. It's like the next M. Night movie. And you don't know what you're going to get. It might be great. It might be
some
shit.
sort of groundbreaking news, something that penetrates and destroys the static.
Not just
we've all been
groundbreaking,
living
but practically unbelievable.
Yes,
This is basically what we're getting.
revolutionary influence on communication. Something changing.
Something major happening.
A big difference maker.
I don't know what it is, dude.
Big news.
I'm just going to eat popcorn and think about it. We're not even going to have to watch anything. I'm just going to eat the popcorn thinking about it.
I'm only saying it so that we can record this. And so later on I could be like, look at what a good astrologer I am. I predicted it.
May the wind be at your back. May the road rise to meet you. And may you live every fucking moment of your life with passion. You guys are the best. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night, Angela.